All right. While we wait,
Yeah,
while we wait a bit for
hi, so
Days.
I'm
Okay.
here with you. I'm just trying to put on my video shortly. Just give me 1 second to do that. All right.
All right. That's fine. So while we wait on Adeza, okay, I didn't want to waste so much time. That's the reason I didn't ask this question, previously. But how many of us can boldly say that we have a standard CV? Okay, that you have a standard CV. You can beat your chest, as some of us say it, and we can say, oh, I have a fantabulous CV, a CV that can pass the ATS system, that's the applicant tracking system, which I'm sure we're still going to be talking about today. Okay, so if you know you have a standard CV, just insert a yes. If you know you don't, you can use a no as well. Just utilize the chat box. So let me know what you think. So we know the set of persons we have on the call, and how to basically navigate this session to ensure that each and every one of you gets top-notch quality. All right. So I have some no's, I have some yes. Don't worry. So if you're in the yes category, you're definitely going to be learning something new. And if you're in the no category, you're definitely going to be able to revamp your entire CV after the end of the session. Adisa, you can go ahead.
All right. Thank you very much for that, ISO, sir. And good evening, good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for joining us today. We're going to have an amazing session. But before we start, I want to find out, we had a session like this, similar to this last week, Saturday, on the 9th of December. So I want to know if you were in that session. So if you joined that session, you've joined our session last week or during the week, just type in a yes in the chat. Just type in a yes. So I know that we have people who are returning back to our master classes. If you joined the session from last week, just type in a yes into the chat so I know that. Okay, so I can see a lot of yes, no, yes, no, yes, no, yes, no. Okay, fantastic. Irrespective, we're going to have an amazing time today. And like I said, a lot of time, most of the time, we focus on the technical part of things. What skills do I need to learn? What tools do I need to know how to use to get jobs in different areas in the tech ecosystem? But today we're looking at the softer part of things, the softer skills, your representation in paper format, your CV. How do you structure your CV to attract the right type of organizations? And we have different categories of people. We have people that have, experience using different tools. We have people who have experience in the area they want to move into. So let's take, for example, let's take business analysis. You've worked as a business analyst before, or you've trained as a business analyst, so you have a business analyst CV. However, you have another category of people who are new and transitioning into the space. So they haven't trained, they don't have the skills, and they still have their CV in their former area of competence. So how do you make that transition? And these are some of the things we'll be talking about today. So I'll go ahead and share my slide. I'll drive the session today with my slide. And I'm going to be very, very conscious of the timing. Okay, so I'll be very conscious. I might move a little bit fast, but as I do that, I want you to keep the session engaged, ask questions in the chat if you have questions, and I'll take those questions from time to time. All right, so I'll go ahead and share my screen, and then we can get started with our session for today. Okay, ISO, please just confirm you can see my slide, and then I go on.
Yes, we can.
All right, brilliant. So our session today revolves around crafting a CV, a standard CV in the year 2024, because this is a major, major factor in the process of getting a job and the reason why people don't get jobs. Your CV gets you recognized and gets you into the organization, at least to have an interview. And from the interview, you can then go ahead to sell yourself and secure the job. But how do you represent yourself properly on paper? So we're going to talk about that today. So, and of course, if ISOSA has talked about Tenalytics and who we are. We're an educational technology company, and our focus is on helping Africans, people of the Black community in Africa and also in the diaspora, to transition into tech. And the way we are doing this is by providing premium quality tech-related programs across different areas from data engineering to data science to data analytics, AI engineering, and so on and so forth. And we pride ourselves on the quality of the facilitators and the trainers we bring to bear. And we'll be showcasing that as we move on. And of course, for myself, my name is Adeza Suleiman. I'm a data analytics expert with close to a decade, years of experience, working across 5 different sectors. And my major focus all through a decade has been to help organizations make sense of the data they have. I've worked in multinationals, worked with one of the largest energy conglomerates in sub-Saharan Africa, and I've helped so many organizations in the UK, in the US, working as a data science consultant, helping them to make sense of their data. And I'm very passionate about seeing people that look like me. If I walk into an organization in the UK or in the US, I want to see someone that looks like me, holding key roles. I don't want to just meet Nigerians, meet Africans in the UK who only do care jobs and who only work in the warehouses or do Deliveroo and Uber, drivers, with all due respect to people like that. But I'm just simply saying, I want to see more people in the tech ecosystem. All right. Take, for example, you go to Canada and you look at you look at roles or different positions in the tech ecosystem. You'd see about 10 Indians before you see 1 African. All right. But if you go to the other jobs that are more convenient and easy to get, the care jobs and all of that, you'd see 10 Africans before you see 1 Indian. So we want to change that narrative, and that's what we are all about at Tenalytics. All right. And one of the key aspects, like Isosa has mentioned at the beginning, is the tech world, the tech industry, the tech ecosystem is an ever-revolving one. It's very dynamic. So how do you always ensure that you change and move in line with the changes that happens? Okay. And one of those areas is on the way you have your CV properly crafted. So we're going to be looking in depth into that. We'll look at what recruiters demand, how to position yourself for global opportunities. And I'm going to introduce you to our upcoming programs starting on the 6th of January, 2024. And of course, I'll introduce you to, we have amazing discounts available and also success stories. Because one of the things people want to see is somebody like me has done it and they've gone ahead of me. They've achieved the things I'm trying to achieve. So I'll be sharing some success stories as well. Okay, so in crafting a standout CV or a standout tech CV, to be more precise, because not just any CV, but a tech CV. Somebody's saying I can't hear. Hope it's my phone. I believe I'm audible. Austin is saying you're very correct, Adeza. Thank you, Tenalytics. Absolutely. So we are playing our part to ensure that we bring in as many people into the tech ecosystem. Now, in crafting a tech CV, I gave you 2 examples of 2 categories of people. And one of the things we do at Tenalytics is we don't only focus on the technical, because the technical is a given. You're going to learn all the things you need to learn. A lot of people learn on YouTube, they learn on Udacity, so many platforms, too many for instance. However, beyond your technical skill, how do you stand out? How do you position yourself? How do you interview? How do you answer questions? How do you ensure that you know ahead and preempt the type of questions you're likely going to get in an interview? Do you have a portfolio? How do you showcase your portfolio? And so on and so forth. So these are the things that we focus on because this is what would get you the job. The best, the most intelligent, the expert user in a particular tool, Python, Excel, does not usually get the job. That's not the only criteria. You have other areas that you need to put into consideration. All right. Just give me 30 seconds. I'll be right back with you. That's shots. All right. Now, looking at the 2 categories, like I mentioned, for anybody who joins our program, all right, you have a set of people that have done nothing related to tech. You have teachers, you have, we've had farmers. We've had a farmer join our data science program. We've had bakers, businessmen and women, and people like that. They have done nothing, even though they are professionals, but they've done nothing related to tech. You have that category of people, and they have their experience, 5 years, 10 years. and they are relevant experience, in the sense that you don't want to throw away 10 years experience because you are transitioning to a new career path. So what do you do? All right. Now you have another category of people that I want to become a data analyst, for example. And for me to become a data analyst, I have the technical skill, but I don't have the other skills to help me get the job. I don't know how to write my CV. I don't know how to tailor my CV. I don't know how to interview. And there are people like that. 2 years, they couldn't get jobs until they came to us. Now, if you fall into the category of people that have experience in other career paths and you're trying to transition, the first thing you must do is have a CV in your chosen career path. That's the first thing. If you're a teacher, your teaching experience of 5 years, of 10 years must capture the new career path you're trying to move into. If, take for example, you want to become a data analyst, you've done education, you've worked in a school, high school, teaching students different subjects, you want to capture data analytics skills. You've used Excel, you've used SQL, you've used Power BI, you've used Tableau, you've used ChatGPT for analytics, you've used all those tools to optimize the way you do your teaching and so on and so forth. Because without that, any organization would see you as somebody who is new. And organizations, trust me, don't want to hire somebody who will be trying to find their feet when they join their company. They want somebody that would hit the ground running and not learn at their own expense. Okay, so no matter how intelligent you are, there are common mistakes a lot of people make. And I'm going to try to highlight just 4 of them. Okay, why you are not getting jobs and why you would still find it very difficult to get jobs if you keep on making these mistakes. So we'll start from that. Of course, once you know what you should not do, it then becomes clear what you should do. And we're going to have a very quick practical exercise on tailoring, matching your CV to a job, and also crafting your achievements. Okay, now, no matter how intelligent you are, you're going to find it difficult to get a job if you make these mistakes. And number one is you don't tailor your CV. And I see people making this mistake every single time. All right, you have a CV, you use that one CV to apply to 1,000 jobs. And you wonder the reason why you keep on getting rejections, unfortunately, rejections upon rejections. You have to tailor your CV. Always, always. All right. I had somebody who he came to me to say, look, I've been trying to get a job. I've not been able to get a job. I told him to join our program. He joined. And when we looked at his CV, we looked at his, in fact, he didn't have a LinkedIn profile, but he had a CV. He was using one CV to apply to all the jobs. Because he was a business analyst, he believed that that business analyst CV with X number of years of experience was always going to get him the job, but that never happened. Organizations want somebody that matches the particular role they want to fill. And they track this using something called ATS, all right? ATS, Applicant Tracking System, or Applicant Tracking Software, if you will. So you want to ensure that it's not a human being that would look at all the keywords and match. No, it's a system, it's a software, it's a program that would look at your CV and match the keywords to the job description. So you want to be sure that your CV properly captures the keywords for that job you're trying to apply to. If not, you're not going to get your CV into the mix or into the pool of those who will be called for interviews. So not tailoring your CV is shooting yourself on the foot before you even get the process started. And that's why you can't send the same CV to every job application. You must always adjust. You must make changes to fit the job you're applying to. And like I said, I'm going to do a practical example on this, how you can leverage different tools that are available for free, like JobScan, Job Analytics, ChatGPT, and so many other tools that you can use for this. All right. So that's the first mistake you are making. If you're in these buckets, you know that you're going to find it very, very difficult to land a job. All right. The second mistake people make is failing to highlight your achievement. So they ask you, on this particular role, what do you do? Creating dashboards using Power BI, extracting data from the database using SQL. Those are duties. Those are not achievements. Employers and recruiters want to know your achievements. Are you an achiever? Have you done something? What's the impact of what you've done? That's what they want to see. Are you a superstar? Because every company wants a superstar in their organization. So if all you have are duties and responsibilities of your role, then you know you have a problem. All right. You need to change that to accomplishments and ensure that they look more like achievements. And they are also measured in numbers. So you must have metrics. All right. I optimize this process, which is to take 5 days, and I reduce the number of days by 80%. And now it takes just about 70 minutes or 60 minutes or 1 hour or thereabouts. Okay. You want to put some metrics. You did this and it increased something by 8x%. Change your duties, change your responsibilities to achievements. And we're going to do a practical session on this as well today. All right. Now, leaving gaps in your employment. Now, for some of you, you've been out of job, you've been out of work for a very long time, or maybe not a long time. You've been out of work for 2 months, for 3 months, for 5 months, or you've been out of work for a year. You've gone to do your master's, and the last time you worked was in maybe 2022. If you apply to a job and your last place of work states 2022, you're going to have problems. It's going to raise a red flag. And the reason is because in the tech ecosystem, the tech ecosystem is a very dynamic one. It changes very fast. There are new technologies that come up. I mean, 2 years ago, nobody knew or heard anything about tools like ChatGPT, other large language models like Bard, Gemini, and so on and so forth. But today, it's all over the place. Things change rapidly. A tool like Power BI, for example, gets updated every month. You have new updates. So you being out of work or you not showing what you've been doing for just a month or 2 months could raise a flag about you. So you don't want to leave gaps in your employment. All right. So if you've gone to do your master's or you are involved in a project or you are doing internship, you must indicate what you've been doing within that period. So once you've listed your years of experience and all the things you've been doing, at the bottom, you could have other work experience, okay, or other activities. You have a section that shows what you've been doing. Or I've been working on a project, I've been working on an internship, or I've even been engaged in my master's or training. You must indicate and not leave gaps in your employment. All right, that's very, very important. And last but not the least is the format of your CV. I see people make a lot of mistakes. I've seen people create CVs using Canva. All right, you have a lot of graphics, charts. You have bar charts to show your level of competence and things like that. That's a very big mistake. All right, a recruiter only has 2.6 minutes to look at your CV. I beg your pardon, 2.6 seconds. They just scan your CV and they move on to the next one. All right, they scan your CV and move. So if you have things that are confusing, if you cannot copy your CV and paste on a notepad and it is readable, then you have a problem as well. All right, so you must use a particular CV format, and I'll be sharing that format with you. It's a general format that cuts across any region. If you're in Canada, you are in the UK, that same CV format would work anywhere across the globe. All right, it's the Watson CV format, and I'll show you what it looks like. So you want to take out pictures. All these things affect the ATS keyword search. So you don't want to have things that would obstruct the ATS from picking your CV. All right. So these are 4 key mistakes that people make. And I can bet you, somebody said I'm breaking. ATS stands for Applicant Tracking System, right? I hope I answered the question. Applicant Tracking System. That's ATS. ISOSA, please confirm that I'm audible and you can hear me clearly before I move on, please.
Yes, I can hear you. You're clear.
All right, thank you very much. Okay, so now we're going to move into, like I mentioned earlier, if you've worked as a teacher, you've worked as a farmer, you've worked as a baker, you've worked as an accountant, you've worked in strategy, you're trying to move into a new career path, you must always tailor your previous experience. So you're not going to put your teaching experience. It is irrelevant to the job you're applying to. You only want to have relevant work experience. So one of the things we'll show you how to do during your CV review sessions is, how do you convert the CV of a teacher, for example, or your CV, depending on where you are currently working or the role you have occupied in the previous years? How do you change that into the CV of the career path you are moving into? So the two CVs you can see at the left and at the right, one is the CV of a teacher. That CV of a teacher has been changed and converted to the CV of a data analyst, because guess what? You are trying to apply to a data analyst role. Your experience as a teacher becomes irrelevant, except you tailor that experience to have a flavor of data analytics. And I'll just read one line and then we move on, all right? Now, if you look at the first line, it says, taught English literature and language to 9th and 10th grade students. Now, if you look at the next line here, because this role is a data analyst role and you have teaching experience, it says spearheaded a data-driven approach to enhance student performance and engagement, leveraging advanced Excel functions and SQL queries to analyze academic metrics. So yes, it still has teaching in there. It has student performance. It has things related to education. But this time around, you have Excel, you have SQL, and so on and so forth. If you don't do this, very, very few organizations will take a chance on you to say that you've learned for the last 4 months. Let's test this person and see if they're really worth their stuff. Okay, so your years of experience would not become, useless eventually if you tailor it to in your new career path. So that's the first thing you do. All right. And we at Analytics, we're going to work with you during your CV review session, convert your previous years of experience that are not relevant and convert them to become relevant to your new career path. That's the first thing. Now, the mistake people make is, once they have done this, they've completed this, they've successfully converted their CV to the CV in the new career path, they end it there. But what we advise is, and what we show you how to do, is how to match your CV, how to always ensure that you do something called job matching. So when you're applying to a data analyst role in the future, you're not going to take that same data analyst CV and apply to all the new roles you find. No, you take it on a role-by-role basis. On a role-by-role basis. You take this role, you do a job matching with your CV, and then you see where you have gaps, correct those gaps, and then you make the adjustments. All right? And this is where we're going to do our first practical of today. Okay, so we're going to do some job matching very quickly because of time. I'm very, very conscious of time today. All right, so we're going to do some job matching, and after the job matching, we'll look at the appropriate formats that a CV should have, especially within the tech ecosystem. All right, now what we are going to do is simple. I'm going to show you a CV template. We'll use a CV template that already exists, a real CV of somebody, although the person's name has been modified, so you can't tell who the person is. And we're going to look for a job, and what we'll do is match that CV to the job and see where there are gaps. Okay, so I'm just going to stop sharing. Let's pick up the CV, and then we'll go to the job we are trying to apply to. All right. Okay, so let's move here first before we go pick up. So this is what the CV looks like. Okay, you have the CV of a data scientist. All right, and this is just to illustrate. And we're going to match it to a job, a real job that was posted, I think, about a few days ago, 1 week ago or thereabouts. A real CV which has the skills, the competence, the experience of a real person, although the name has been changed, and would use that to match a real job as well. And what we're trying to do is see where you have gaps and how you can address those gaps. Okay, so that's the CV at the left-hand side, is a CV of a data scientist. Okay, and that's the job we're going to match it to. I can see a lot of engagement in the chat. Okay, how will I know that my CV meets? That's what we are doing now, Neddy. We are doing that now. Okay, so let's move together. All right, one step at a time. So let's go. I'm going to go bring up the CV, and then I would also show you the job. There's a link here, and I'm going to share this slide with you at the end of today's session. So you can also try to do the same thing I'll be showing you today. Test your CV, use your CV to do the same. Okay, so I'm going to click on this particular link, and it takes me to the job site itself. Okay, so I'm going to open my browser so that it opens up here. So I'll click on the link that I have on my slide, and it's going to open up into my browser. Right, the job is on LinkedIn. Everybody can access this. It's a data scientist job in London, United Kingdom. It was posted about a week ago. Over 100 people have applied already to this particular job. All right, now let's look at about the job. Okay, so they're trying to hire 2 data scientists in London. It's a hybrid role, so it's partly remote and you have to go to the office at some point. All right, what we are concerned about is the key responsibilities, technical skills and experience, professional qualities, what's on offer, and so on. Okay, if I scroll down a bit, now what LinkedIn also tries to do, and why it's important for you to have a LinkedIn profile, it says how you match. 7 of 10 skills match your profile. You may be a good fit. So it's already telling me that I might be able to apply to this job. Okay, so saying that out of 10 skills, I meet 7. So I'll be curious to know what's the other 3 that I have not met. Now, but again, let's go to what we have for today. And the first tool we'll be using for our first practical exercise is called Job Scan. Okay, Job Scan. So I'm going to type that in my browser, Job Scan. Okay, you can just search, do a search on Google, Job Scan would come up. Job Scan, so you'd see Job Scan. I'm going to right click on Job Scan, open in a new tab. Okay, Job Scan. There are different types. Okay, there's Job Scan, there is Job Analytics. Job Scan does a very good job, okay, in showing you key insights of areas you should make changes. Okay, and you can use Job Scan for free for the first 5 times. And then you might have to pay a little bit of money, but that's why you have so many tools at your disposal. You have ChatGPT today. We're also going to use that to see how to address some of these changes. All right. So Job Scan, if I scroll down a bit, you'd see upload resume, add a job, and view results. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to paste the CV we will be using today, the data scientist CV. I'm going to copy and paste, and I'll copy that job, the job description, and paste, and Job Scan will do a job matching for me. And I would see the level to which my CV matches the job, or the CV matches the job, because it's not my CV actually. Okay, so let's go to the CV and bring it up. So I'm going to double click on this. I think that's it. Yes, that's the CV. Okay, so this is the CV we'll be working with. All right, we're working with this CV, and one of the first things you want to do, before I do this, I'm going to ask this question. I think I've jumped the gun, but let's go back. I want to ask this question before we dive into that. Okay, so before we go on, I have 2 CV formats, and I want you to tell me the format that you think is preferable, the format that you think would get you the job, the format that you think is friendly to the ATS. What do you think about this format? It looks good. It has the picture, the profile picture. So just type in yes or no. Is this a good format of a CV for us to use? Just type in yes or no. It has the picture, has the name, has the work experience, education, everything. Just type in a yes or a no. No, 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 no. Some say yes, 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 yes. We have more no's than yeses. No, no. If there's any Tenalytics person here, then they definitely know what the answer to this is. Mohammed says yes. Alimi says yes. Ezekiel says yes. We have a lot of no's and yeses. All right. Now, you don't want to have your CV in this format. You don't want to have your CV in this format. Avoid graphics, avoid pictures, avoid fancy sections. You have a section to the left, you have another section to the right. It's confusing. You're going to confuse the ATS. Okay. It's not entirely bad in the sense that, can you still get a job with this? Yes. If you work in a company where somebody looks at the CV physically, but that's not likely going to happen. You want to maximize your opportunities and increase your chances of getting a job. And I've seen this happen with so many people. Little changes makes a whole lot of difference in getting the job at the end of the day. You want your CV in the Wharton CV format, as plain as possible, as plain in a way that you can copy and paste and it is readable. Because that's the same way the ATS is going to, the ATS would pass your CV through the system. Okay, so you use the Wharton CV format, and the Wharton CV format gives you the best results at the end of the day. All right, so you can see the name, everything is properly structured. Just put this at the back of your mind. If you cannot copy your CV and paste in a notepad or in a WordPad or on Word, and it is readable logically, then you don't have a good CV. If you can't do that, so you can do a test on your CV, copy every section and paste. If I read this, is it understandable? Do I know when this person joined this company? Can I read all the details? Yes or no? All right. So that's why you want to use the Wharton CV format. Okay. So I thought it was very important that I, brought this up before we go back to the practical bit of what we're trying to do. All right. Avoid all the pictures. It's really not necessary. Absolutely. So Catherine says, if it is fashion or media, then maybe, perhaps. Okay, but I don't advise this. Somebody said I've been using something like, we've all been there before. I've used a CV that looks like this too. In fact, some CV template websites, they'll give you results like this. All right. But you don't want to have your CV in this format. It doesn't give you the best results at the end of the day. Okay. So I'm going to go back to JobScan. All right. And I have the CV in here. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy, Control A to highlight and Control C to copy. All right, Control A, I highlight everything, Control C to copy, or I can right click anywhere I've highlighted and copy. All right, so I want to copy the CV and paste it on JobScan. So I go back to JobScan. Okay, and of course you can upload if you want to upload. I prefer to paste so that I can see the CV and be sure that it's properly aligned and so on and so forth. Okay, so you can either upload as a PDF or document, a Word document, or you can paste as text. So I go to paste, and then I just paste the resume in here. All right, Control V, and then I paste. And if you look at the way this is arranged, you'd see, if I scroll all the way to the top, all right, you can see the name, Cornbury, the person's phone number, the email, the LinkedIn, the location, professional summary, core competence, technical skills. It's aligned, it's properly, segmented. One is not at the left, one is not at the right. It's not all over the place. You want to copy and paste your CV and have it look like this. Okay, if it is not like this, where you can see professional experience, data scientist with Amazon in the UK, October 2022 to present. If you don't have it like this, aligned, then you want to rework your CV to the Wharton CV format. All right. So now that I've pasted, I'll go to what? Continue. Okay, I'll go to what? Continue. And it's now time for me to paste the job description. What are we doing? We're doing a job matching, right? So I go to my job description. So I go to the job on LinkedIn and I copy from where? I copy from the key responsibilities, because this shows me I'm applying to a data science role, a data scientist role. I'm going to develop sophisticated ETL pipelines, design and execute complex SQL queries, utilize advanced machine learning algorithms, and so on and so forth. So I want to check all these things they've listed, are they on my CV? Because if they are not, that's why you don't get called for interviews and you get rejections. Unfortunately, you're not getting called because the keywords that the company is looking for, or the keywords the company wants you to have, you don't have them on your CV. So I'm going to copy all of this. All right. I'll copy this, select it and copy Control-C, or I just right click and I click on copy. And I go paste it where I have my job description. All right, Control-V to paste. Okay, so now let's view the results. Let's scan to do the job matching and let's view the results. I click on scan. Okay, and job scan does the job for me. And like I mentioned earlier, you might have to, at this point, when you click on scan, you might have to sign up. Okay, you might have to sign up if you haven't signed up before. All right, now, interesting. Can you see this match rate at the left-hand side? That's your best friend. You see that match rate, that's your score. So it's like you're going to write an exam and you get 54%. Are you the type are you happy if you're an employer and you want to hire somebody and the person scores 54 over 100, would you hire that person? Yes or no? Would you hire the person? Just type it in the chat. Yes or no. Of course, everybody would say no. There's no doubt about that. It's a big no. Nobody would want to hire an average employee. Everybody wants a superstar. So you have to present yourself as a superstar. So what we're going to try to do is find a way to do what? Turn this 54% or increase it to at least 85%. All right. And there's so many things you'd have to do to change it from 54 to around 80, 85. That's where you want to be. You want to be at the range of 80 to 85. All right. It's difficult to get 100%. It's unlikely, except you're literally just copying and pasting whatever they have on the job description. However, you want to get close to 80 to 85. Okay. And I mean, anybody who sees a candidate that scores 80 to 85, you're likely going to hire that person. Okay. Now, JobScan will do a good job showing you some of the areas where you have problems. Okay. In terms of searchability, that's the applicant tracking system. It's telling you what the applicant tracking system is. There are computers that processes your resume, understand your work history and relevance to the job description. So it's telling you that, look, adding the company's job name and web address on this platform would help JobScan check the job description and beyond what you have pasted. Okay, but we're not going to do that because of time, of course. Contact info, it's telling you that they didn't find a particular address. Now, if you look at the CV, it only says Manchester, United Kingdom. It doesn't say a particular postcode or a particular area in Manchester. All right. So it's giving you an advice that, look, you might want to put a CV. Your date format is also telling you that your date format is not the best. Okay. You want to use, and if you click on view dates, it shows you the formats you might want to use. All right. The format you might want to use. So it's showing you this in terms of searchability. You have 3 areas to address. Now, the core focus is on the skills. If you look at the left-hand side, you'd see skills is red, very red. 16 issues to fix. If I click on skills, you start to see the skills and where the problems are. Okay. Now you see the skill comparison, your resume, which is your CV, and then the job description. Okay. Your resume and then the job description. Now, I want us to pay very close attention to something. I'll point your attention to something. Now, there's one skill in the job description called Postgres. Postgres, for those that are familiar with databases, PostgreSQL is a type of database management system. It's one of the tools they expect you to have. It's telling you that in your resume, this skill was not found. It doesn't exist in your resume. And in the job description, it is required. At least it was mentioned one time. I want to ask you guys, do you think this particular skill, Postgre, is in the CV or not? Is it in the CV or not? Yes or no? Do you think if it's in the CV, say yes. If it's not in the CV, say no. JobScan has told us that it is not there. All right? No, no, no. Yes, some people are saying yes. For those that are saying yes, I would love to know why you think it is there. All right? No, no. Now, when you see this, this is what happens in the real world when you apply to a job. Okay? Postgres is one of the skills that the organization needs, and it has not recognized this skill in your CV. But guess what? It is there. Postgres is there. Look at it carefully while I take you back to the CV. Postgres is there. If I go back to the CV, let's go to skills. Okay, let's go to skills. What do you see here? PostgreSQL. PostgreSQL. And this is what we call keyword matching, and why you must never use one CV to apply to multiple jobs. PostgreSQL is in your CV, but the way it is written in the job description is different from the way you have written it in your CV. So PostgreSQL, that's what you wrote. But what you have in the job description is Postgres. All right. So that's a key lesson to everybody on the call. When you're applying to a job, look at the skill, look at what they have listed, and use that so that you get very good keyword matching. All right. So what I'm going to do now is I might not necessarily delete the PostgreSQL. I'm just going to put a comma on the CV and I'm going to type a Postgres. Okay. Because that's what is on the job description. All right. That's what is on the job description, not PostgreSQL, but Postgres. And that's where you see some people would write Excel, while the job description would say Microsoft Excel. Just because of that, you're going to lose points, and you don't want to lose any valuable points when applying to a job. All right. Now, that's one area that there is a concern. Another concern is where you see machine learning algorithms. Machine learning algorithms. You don't have that on your CV. Telling you clearly you don't have machine learning algorithms on your CV. You don't have exploratory data analysis on your CV. And of course, there are some other skills that are blurred out. You can't see them because JobScan would not give you everything for free. They want you to pay some money. All right. So you see some areas that are blurred that you don't have, but you can't see what it is. Okay. So Postgre is not there. Machine learning, exploratory data analysis. These are some of the skills that are not on your CV. Let's click on show more. Okay. Okay, so for the others, they didn't show you what the skills are. All right. But we've seen that Postgres is part of the skills that was not indicated or picked from the CV. Machine learning algorithms, exploratory data analysis. So what we're going to do is simple. Okay, we're going to go back to the CV. I'm going to type in machine learning algorithms, exploratory data analysis. Let's go back to the CV. So where I have my core competence, all right, I'm going to add a new line. All right, and I'm going to do this very quick because time is already, I'm going to type machine learning algorithms. Okay, I'm going to come here. I'm going to come here and type exploratory data analysis, EDA, exploratory data analysis. And what was the other one again? Postgres. I know I've added it there, but I'm just going to add it here again. Or no, I'm not going to add it to core competence. It's already in technical skills, so I'll leave it there. What else? It's not showing us the remaining. And this is where ChatGPT comes to our rescue. So JobScan, yes, you've done a good one. We can't have everything for free. You've told us a couple of the areas that I don't have, but you've not shown me everything. Now, because it's your CV and you know the skills you have on your CV, if you click on highlighted skills, this shows you highlighted skills from the job description. So from here, you can even see some skills that perhaps you did not include or you don't have on your CV and include them. Okay, but we're quickly going to use ChatGPT. And I'm going to do this a little bit fast. All right. So please, because of time, of course. So I'm going to open up ChatGPT. I'm sure you guys are familiar with ChatGPT, and I'm going to write some prompts that would help us to check our CV, check the job description, and tell me where I might need to make changes based on the job I'm applying to. So let's write our first prompt. I'm going to tell ChatGPT that, okay, check my CV and match it to this job description, highlighting skills that are not on my CV. Simple. Check my CV and match it to this job description, highlighting skills that are not on my CV. I go to the next line. I type my CV. I open a quote and close the quote. I go to another line and I type job description. Okay, open a quote and close a quote. All right, so my CV, I'm going to paste my CV in there. Job description, I'm going to paste the job description in there. Okay, so I've made changes to the CV. So I'm just going to pick what I pasted initially. So I'll come here, sorry, and I'm going to copy this, which is my CV, obviously, what I pasted on JobScan. So I copy this, that's my CV, and I paste it here in between the quotes. All right. And I'm going to copy the job description as well, and I'll paste it into the quote. So I go to the job description, I copy this, Control C, and I go back to ChatGPT and I paste it here. Job description, Control V, and I hit enter. All right. So let's see what ChatGPT gives to us. Let's see what ChatGPT gives to us. Okay. Brilliant. All right. So now you can see it's saying that number one, ETL pipelines. On your CV, you wrote perform ETL processes on clients' data and so on and so on. Highlighted skill not in CV. Emphasize your experience in developing and maintaining sophisticated ETL pipelines. All right. Emphasize your experience in developing and maintaining. That's what you have in the job description. So if you don't have it on your CV, you're likely going to lose marks for that. So I'm going to go back and I'm going to emphasize developed and maintained sophisticated ETL pipelines. I'm going to write that in the CV. All right, so let's go back. So I'm going to come here. One of the job experiences, I would write developed and maintained sophisticated ETL pipelines. All right. And again, this is me we're just doing this very fast. I want to show you why job matching is very important. Okay. In a more detailed, comprehensive session, we take this bit by bit. First of all, there are so many things not right with the way the job experience has been couched. All right. And I'm going to show you how to recouch them also using ChatGPT. Okay. So I've included that sophisticated ETL pipelines. Let's go back to ChatGPT. Okay. SQL on your CV, you've mentioned that you conducted data cleaning and processing using Excel and SQL. Highlighted skill not on your CV. You need to highlight your ability to design and execute complex SQL queries for data extraction, cleaning, pre-processing from large unstructured data sets. Okay. So I don't want to have to remember this. So I'm just going to copy. I'll come here and paste. One thing I always advise people is you don't want to copy and paste without modifying, because ChatGPT makes mistakes. It is not foolproof. Okay, you must always modify. You must always make it human, make it your own, and not just a copy and paste. All right. So I'm going to put here designed and executed complex SQL queries. I'm just going to do this just because of time. We don't have time to look at every single thing, okay? Cloud computing. On your CV, you mentioned MATLAB, Tableau, Power BI, DAX. Emphasize your experience with cloud computing environments like AWS and so on, okay? I can come here. Data visualization, emphasize the experience in data visualization. So here, I'm not going to really type in anything. I'll just come back here, all right? And I'll put monitored, or I would say supervised data migration. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to retest and see if the job percentage increases or not. Supervised data migration from an MSQL database to a cloud database hosted with, let me just put this AWS, all right, just random, okay? And there's so many other things, all right? Communication, commitment to quality. And these are the areas that ChatGPT has shown you that you have gaps and you must do what? You must modify, okay? So now that we've made just a few changes based on what JobScan has shown us and also what we have done on ChatGPT, what we are going to do now is we are going to rescan, upload and what? Rescan. Upload and what? Rescan. So I'm going to click on upload and rescan. So here I need to upload my resume again. But remember, I have made changes here. Since I've also seen that cloud computing is something important, I'm going to add cloud computing to the core competence. It wasn't there before, so I'm going to add it to the core competence. Now I'm going to copy and paste again, all right? Select everything, Control A, Control C to copy, and I'll go back to JobScan. I'll delete all the things I have here on that resume and paste the modified resume, okay? So let's see if we've pasted the right thing. Let's see, we have cloud computing, machine learning algorithms, exploratory data analysis, Postgres. Those were some of the things that we added that were not there before, okay? So I'm going to click on scan. Let's scan again and see. Did it make any difference? Did it make any changes? Sometimes you might need to make more changes to really see that improvement. But guess what? We have moved by 10 points. Okay, we have moved from 54 to what? 64%. Just by doing what? Adding machine learning algorithms, adding Postgres instead of PostgreSQL, adding cloud computing, and a few other things that we added. We've increased our points by 10. So we've gone a little bit above average from 54. Now we're on 64%. Okay, so in doing your job matching, you can leverage ChatGPT to do the work for you 100% from start to finish, whereby at the end of the day, you come back, you do your check, and you can see the improvements. The first was 54. The second is 64. And JobScan is telling you that, look, making updates to your resume to reach a score of 75%, we at Analytics always recommend 80 to 85%. That gives you the best at the end of the day. That's where you want to be, 80 to 85%. So the more changes you make based on the job you are applying to, the more match rates you're going to get. Until you get that match rate, ideally, it's 80 to 85%, you're not likely going to get called for that interview. And this is why you can't use the same CV using that to apply to multiple jobs. All right. One thing I'm also going to show you before we move on to other things is the duties. If you look at the duties, if you look at the work experience, it only shows duties. All right. Interpreting intelligence data to evaluate trends, performing ETL, your experience cannot be continuous. It has to be something that you've done. It has to be an achievement. You have to show metrics. You have to show impact. So you want to change all of this, okay? From interpreting to interpreted. Make it sound like an achievement. So I'm going to copy everything that I have here. Okay, I'm going to copy everything I have under my work experience. For the first row, I'll go back to ChatGPT. Okay, I'm going to go back to ChatGPT very quickly. Still using the same prompt. We're going to write our second prompt. All right, and the second prompt is simply rephrase the work experience, emphasizing them as achievements. Okay, rephrase my work experience, emphasizing them as achievements. And quantify them using metrics. Okay, and I'm going to paste the work experience I copied. I'm going to paste them in between quotes. All right, so I'm saying that rephrase my work experience, emphasizing them as achievements, quantify them using metrics. I'm going to hit enter. Let's see what it gives us. All right, let's see what it gives us. Okay, so we have 9 different work experience. The experience we sent in, it has quantified them. It has also changed it to be more actionable. Things that we have done, we have achieved. Analyzed intelligence data, identifying trends and automating reports that significantly contributed to executive decision-making. This improved decision-making efficiency by 20%. Okay, so you're not just going to copy what you have here and paste, but you do what? Copy, modify, and paste. So rather than having analyzing, if we look at what we had initially, it says interpreting intelligence data. But this time around, we are making it sound like an achievement because organizations want people who have done stuff. Tell me about your achievements. What have you implemented? What have you pioneered? What have you designed? What have you built? All right. Led ETL processes on client data source, applying SQL queries to identify trends and enhance operational and procedural efficiency. This led to an achievement of 15% reduction in processing time. These sound more like what? Achievements. So you are going to coin this and paste it under your work experience. So what you had initially that looked like duties, anybody can put that there. These are more what? Impact driven. So you're going to get asked questions during interview. Oh, you were able to reduce processing time by 15%. By what? Optimizing or writing efficient SQL queries. Can you tell me more about that project? Okay, you're going to get questions like that. And one of the things we tell everybody that joins 10 Analytics is if you have a dot on your CV, you must be prepared to what? Talk about that dot. Every single letter, every single T you have on your CV, you must be prepared enough to talk about those experiences. All right. And this is how you leverage tools to do what? Coin and craft a CV that is compelling and standard enough. If you do just these things I've shown you, the 2 things I've shown you today, you would take your CV from a CV that has always given you rejections to a CV that would start to give you good outcomes. All right. So all these things are said: interpreting, performing, developed forecast model. Yes, you developed a forecast model. What did it do? How did it help anybody? All right. So here it changed it to what? Pioneered the development of forecast model. And this model did what? Resulted in a 15% improvement in forecasting accuracy. You are quantifying your achievements, all right? So you must always at every point in time, change your duties to what? Achievements. And one key phrase I always give, and I'm going to give it to you for free. When you are coining your achievements, you can use this particular phrase. Sorry, I'm just going to write it properly. Please pardon my handwriting. Okay. I used X to build Y, and it led, I used X to build Y, and it led to Z. Okay, always remember this. You used a particular tool to build something, and it must always lead to something. When you're crafting your achievements, for example, I use Power BI to build and automate the reporting in the organization, and this led to 50% improvement in operational activities. It led to 50% increase in revenue. I used X to build Y, and it led to Z. If you use this framework to coin your achievement, it makes it a lot easier. And if you look at all these achievements here, they were coined using that in mind. I use Microsoft Excel and SQL to do what? Data cleaning and processing, and it led to what? 25% improvement. I used X to build Y, and it led to Z. So going back to what you must not do when writing your CV, remember this. Your CV must be ATS compliant. You must never use the same CV applying to jobs. You match your CV to the job you're applying to, and you could see clearly where you had PostgreSQL on your CV, ATS did not pick it because the job description wants Postgres and not PostgreSQL. Just the same way, if you have Excel on your CV and the job description has Microsoft Excel, it's likely not going to pick it. So you want to be careful about things like that, all right? You want to change your duties to achievements. You must quantify them, show that it had an impact. You don't want to leave employment gaps. I know we've not talked about this in detail, and I've also shown you appropriate CV formats, which is the Wharton CV format. It's the best format you want to use for your CV across all regions. If you're in Europe, you're in Canada, you are in Africa, anywhere across the globe, the Wharton CV format would pass any ATS system and get you the results and the outcome that you want. Okay, so looking at these two alone, in addition to so many other things you're going to have to do when you join any of our programs, which is called the CV review session. And that's what has made us and our participants so successful. It's not about you being the best in Excel. It's not about you being the best in Python or you being the best in R or whatever tool. It's about you positioning yourself appropriately for the job by doing your CV in a top-notch quality, form. What of people who have no experience or have any CV? That's exactly what I'm saying, Olawale. If you have no experience, you have no CV. Let's assume you have no experience. All right. Of course, you craft a CV. That's the first thing you do. So what career path are you moving into? I want to be a data analyst. Okay. I want to be a data scientist, a HR analyst, a financial analyst. That's what you want to do. But you're fresh out of the university. You've never worked before. It's fine. Newbies who are fresh out of the university get jobs. And this is where you prioritize your projects. What have you done? What projects have you worked on? That would be the highlights for you. So where you have work experience for a professional who has experience, you would have the projects you have worked on. You would have internships. And that's one of the beauties of joining 10Analytics. You're going to have 10Analytics on your profile, your LinkedIn profile, that you have worked with us. And I'm just going to show you a couple very quickly before I move into the other aspects for today. Our participants that have been a part of our program, I'm just going to show you a bit of their LinkedIn profile. They always, let's go to Sonia. Sonia recently got a job in the UK as a HR analyst after joining our HR analytics program. She's on my slide, so you're going to see her as well. And you'll see on her LinkedIn, you can see she currently works with BAT in London, in the UK. She got this job. You can see she started last month, so very recent. Can you see what she has here? HR analyst, October 2022. She moved from Nigeria to the UK for her master's last year. All right. And she joined the program before she moved to the UK. Because one of the conversations we had, she joined a masterclass like this. And one of the conversation was, you don't want to come to the UK and come and do everything everybody else is doing. You want to get a job that would show you a clear career progression. All right. She joined our HR analytics program. And when the recruiter goes to her LinkedIn profile, they see this. Oh, she's done this with a company in the UK. All right. See the skills she listed. And today she's a HR business partner with British American Tobacco in the UK. That's one. I'll show you another person very quickly. Somebody else that is on our slide, Idris at ABC. Idris has worked with Jaguar Land Rover. He currently works as a senior analytics engineer. Quickly show you Idris. So this is Idris at DBC. Idris has worked as a data engineer with Jaguar Land Rover in the UK. And of course, if you go to his experience, you would also see data engineer with Tenalytics, March 2022 to January 2023. Okay. He just recently got a job as well. Moving from Jaguar, he's going to a new job where his new role is a senior analytics engineer. And so many of them. If I go to, let's see, Victor Oyeshino. Okay, all the 10, and that's how you build credibility, social proof that you've done it before. All right, social proof that you've done it before. I don't know if Victor has that, but he should have it on his profile too. And this is Victor as well. Before Victor got his job with Hugo in the US, working remotely from Nigeria, you can see HR analyst with Tenalytics. And you can see his profile, all the projects he worked on. If I click on that, you see all the projects he worked on, the recruitment dashboard, the different, dashboards he created. And this was what attracted the recruiters to him. And for the gentleman, Olawale, that asked the question, this is what you do. All right. You come to your LinkedIn, you put in an organization that you have worked with them. You're not going to see anybody say, oh, I was a trainee or I trained. No, because all the skills you are learning and all the projects you are going to work on, those are the same skills and projects, similar projects you're going to implement in that particular organization. All right. So these are the ways that we position you to get the job eventually. I hope that shed some level of clarity to you, Olawale. And it is within a 3-layered approach, how we help to position you for success. 3-layered approach. 3-layered approach. And the first approach, we've done one out of the first, because there are a lot of things you need to do. The first approach, which is level 1, is the CV review session. So all the things I've shown you within just a little, within a few minutes, you'd have a minimum of about 5 classes on your CV alone. Your CV review session, you're going to have about 5 classes, because you would learn how to do what? Match and tailor your CV continuously, because they're going to apply to multiple jobs. And I'm not going to sit down here and tell you that it's a very easy task. It is very tasking. It's going to take a lot of your time. Applying to jobs is a job on its own, because you have to tailor your CV, you have to do your job matching, ensure that the keywords align, and then you go ahead and apply. That's when you get results. Not throwing one CV to thousands of jobs and expecting to get good outcomes. It would never happen. All right. You're going to have your LinkedIn optimized. If you go to any Tenalytics participant, you'd see on their LinkedIn profile that they work with Tenalytics, or they've worked with Tenalytics. And that's what recruiters want to see, because they're going to reach out to us to say, I want to hear about Sonia, who worked with you as a HR analyst. What skills? What are her strengths? What are her weaknesses? How do we manage this particular person since you have worked with them before? They want to get somebody to vouch for you. All right. So you have Upwork optimization to help for those of you that want to work freelance, work on projects, and of course, navigating the job market. Depending on where you are in Nigeria, you want to get a job. How do you apply to jobs? What do you need to look out for? Do you always have to wait for a job vacancy? Can you do cold calling? Can you send your CV? Can you network, leverage your network within the Tenalytics community and even outside the Tenalytics community to get jobs? All right. Job and interview preparation. This is one of the most important things you would ever get to benefit from Tenalytics. And you're going to see a lot of people on the testimonials that we have on the slide. The interview preparation alone has saved so many people. Benga, for example, was unable to get a job in Poland for 2 years after moving to Poland. But he joined us, and with several interview preparation sessions, he was able to land a job, because you need to know what to say when you get into that room. You need to know what they're likely going to ask you. You need to prepare and preempt their questions. And of course, recommendation and references. Every day we receive references. People want to know. When Idris at DBC, the gentleman I showed you the other time, Idris, that works with Jaguar Land Rover, when he was moving from that Jaguar Land Rover to his new organization, they wanted to meet with Tenalytics. Oh, Idris has worked with you before. Let's get to know who Idris is. And for the first time during a reference, they had a video call, which was very strange. And I had to ask the hiring manager, that is this standard practice? Do you always have video calls with previous employers of your new employees? And he says, not all the time, but whenever they can, they always do that, because it's always better hearing from people than when they write it. Because you don't know how amazing people are until you actually listen to people talk about them. And that's why they do that. So this is the layer 1 and the first level. We did that for Idris. Idris has currently moved to a better organization, better pay, and he started his journey just last year. And that's the beauty of the tech ecosystem. You do something called job hopping. So the second level, you've gotten the job. You continuously need mentorship, both before you get the job and after you have gotten the job. So you have weekly mentorship sessions every Thursday evening with Tenalytics and on-the-job support. You've gotten the job, you need help to do 1 or 2 things. You have people that are there. Their role is to ensure that you have a soft landing and you do well in that new organization. All right. And of course, going into the new year, the last level, the final level, which is the ultimate, that we are guaranteeing all our participants going into 2024, level 3. You've done all of this. We've done all of this, level 1, level 2. Level 3 is a guaranteed interview 1 month after completing your program. So you're in the US, you're in Canada, you're in the UK, you want to get a job. All right. One of the ways you'd get a job easily is by getting interviewed. Once you get interviewed, 2 things happen. You learn from that process. You might not get the job the first time, but you listen to the type of questions, you learn, and you know what to expect. You get better, you get more confident, or you get the job, because that has happened so many times. The first interview, you can also get the job, because we would always work with you and you can always count on us to work with you. So that's the final level, where we are saying that 1 month after your program, we're going to get you an interview with an organization in your preferred location. All right. Now, opportunities in tech, because there's so many areas. I've shown you Idris, who got a job as a data engineer. I've shown you Sonia, who currently works with BAT as a HR business partner. Victor, who got a job as a people operations analyst after joining us. There are so many areas in tech. What are the areas you need to focus on? Okay. And I'm going to rush through this because of, like I said, I want to engage with you guys and take your questions as much as I can. When you are applying to a job, please, I'm not going to go detailed into this report, but I want you guys to read the report. It's the World Economic Forum Future of Jobs report, all right? And it shows you the jobs that would grow in demand and those that would decline in demand. So if you're transitioning, you know where to focus on. You can't make decisions without looking at it from a strategic standpoint and narrowing down your focus. You must always focus on something. All right. And these are the jobs that will grow. So you look at all the major areas, and this is just the highlights. I have kept the link for you here. All right. So you can always get the link when you get the slide, interact with the reports. Okay. You would see the business intelligence analyst, information security, which of course, information security is like an umbrella that includes cybersecurity. All right. You have data analysts and data scientists. These are jobs that will grow. So here you have the growing jobs, growing, and here you have the declining jobs, jobs that will decline. At the left-hand side, you have the growing jobs, jobs that will grow in the next 5 years, 2023 to 2027. And you have jobs that will decline. So if you're trying to get a job as a product manager, for example, yes, product management is good. It's a good career path, but it's declining. And the World Economic Forum has been very, very accurate in predicting these jobs. I've been following it since 2016, and they have been very, very accurate. If you're trying to get a job as a sales or marketing professional, those jobs are likely going to decrease in demand. Investment fund managers as well. So you look at data scientists, you look at data engineers, you look at, if you go down, you'll see financial analysts. I wish I could go down, open the reports, but because of time, I don't want to go too detailed into this. But you see data engineers, you would see data analysts, data scientists, information security analysts, business intelligence analysts, AI, machine learning specialists, and so on and so forth. So if I'm going to transition and I want to stay relevant, I must look at reports like this. So what we do at Analytics before we offer programs to the public, because what we want to do, our mission and our goal is we go to any location around the globe, we start to see Africans, people like me, working in organizations as data analysts, as data scientists, data engineers. For example, if I go to, I'm very proud every single time to see that somebody like Victor, for example, holds a key role. Initially, he got a job as a people operations analyst. Now he's a senior HR business partner in the technology division with Tangerine Africa. Similarly, if I see somebody like Idris at DBC, for example, I'm very proud. Everybody wants to buy Jaguar, wants to buy a Land Rover. All right. We have a Tenalytics alumnus that worked with Jaguar Land Rover. All right. And these are the things we want to see. We want to bring in more Africans into tech, more Black people, people of the Black community, bring them into tech. That's the goal for us. And there are so many of them. Olugbemi as well. If I search for Olugbemi, there's one of our superstars, Olugbemi Akaribo, one of our superstars. Okay, I think I missed Olugbemi. Let me see if it's going to come up. I've forgotten his handle, but I'm likely I'll show you his profile on my slide. Okay. Olugbemi as well, one of our fantastic alumnus, does absolutely well where he currently is. And these are people pushing the frontiers, pushing the narrative, all stemming and springing from Tenalytics. So we took this and we also looked at key criteria of areas that are easy to learn. Okay, because tech is very broad. So you don't want to learn everything or just pick an area that will take you 2 years, 3 years to learn. I want an area that is easy to learn. I can learn in 4 months. I can learn in 3 months. And also areas that are easy to transition in terms of demand. The demand for the jobs are there. The World Economic Forum clearly shows you that these are jobs that are growing demand. The IMF Future of Work report would also show you that in the next between now and 2030, you're going to have 85 million jobs that are readily available. All right. And lastly, you want high and rewarding salaries. High and rewarding salaries. So if I've learned this skill, it takes me maybe about 4 months to learn. And I learn the skill for 4 months. I start applying to jobs and I get a job. What's the salary like? What's my remuneration? Am I likely going to get paid well? Or am I just going to, make do with whatever is available? So high and rewarding salary. So we looked at these 3 criteria. In addition to the reports of the World Economic Forum, the IMF, and we also did our own analysis, all right, to see where the demand for jobs would be. And we came up with 9 career paths. In 2023, we had just 6, but we added 3 new programs for 2024. So you have the business analysis, you have data analytics, you have financial analytics, HR analytics, full stack data science, data engineering, Scrum Master, cybersecurity, and AI engineering. If you want to move into tech and you look at these 9 areas, trust me, these are areas you would easily move into and get a job across the globe in different locations. How much is the cost? Victor, I'm going to break that down very shortly. Okay, I'm going to break that down very shortly. Okay, yes, Benga is in Poland. Is Benga on the call? Somebody's saying he wants to connect with Benga. Benga is a fantastic guy. Ada. So sorry, who's asking for Benga again? If you can connect with Benga, he's a fantastic, fantastic guy. Joined our program. Benga is doing well in Poland. He's referred over 10 people from Poland to join our program after he joined and he saw the amazing stuff he was able to do. All right. So these are the 9 programs we offer across the different areas for the year 2024. And I'm going to quickly break down each career path in the next 30 minutes. So I'll break the different career path, the duration, what the outlook is in terms of the pay, the salary averages, and also what the payment is to join any of these programs at Tenalytics. All right. Now let's start with the business analyst. Who is a business analyst? The business analyst is that individual that acts as a middleman or acts as a bridge between the stakeholders of the business itself and the technology team. Okay, and I'll give you a very simple example. Now, imagine that you work for an organization and one of the things you do is to help other companies develop. You help other companies, you sell software to companies like Zoom, for example. We are on this call because Zoom has developed this platform. All right. Now, customers are complaining that whenever they send messages to support, the customer support team does not respond early enough. It takes time for customer support to respond. So there is a gap somewhere within the process of communication between the customers and the support team. As a business analyst, your role is to look at that problem, look at the process involved from beginning till the end, check for where the bottlenecks are. So one of the first things you do is you map out the process. Map out the process. Okay, so how does the process start and how does it end? From start to finish, where are the bottlenecks? You find out that there is a bottleneck here. Your job is to do what? Take out that bottleneck. Okay, just give me 1 second, guys. Your role is to take out that bottleneck and ensure that that problem is taken away from the company. All right, that's what the business analyst does. That's one role of the business analyst, ensuring that processes are optimized. This is the current process, and we want to get this current process from what it is to a better process of what it should be. Process optimization. Another role is in the process of optimizing different processes in an organization, you need to deploy software. All right. So let's take, for example, you work in a company where you enter customer details manually. And because you enter it manually, a lot of data fall through the cracks. People forget what they need to do because of the manual process involved in the organization. The business analyst is that person who comes in to proffer a solution in the form of a software. So rather than having this process manual, let us automate the process by building a software or acquiring a software within the organization. So the business analyst would then serve as the person that will manage that project, getting all the requirements from the business and communicating the requirements to the technical team or the technology team or the developers. So every single feature that would be in that software or every single feature that would be in the application is captured in the requirements document from the business analyst. And the business analyst manages the project until it is completed, ensuring that every single requirement is captured within that solution. That's the role of the business analyst. The business analyst is a change enabler, enables change, changing the organization from what it is to what it should be by implementing, optimizing processes, and ensuring that processes are efficient by deploying different solutions at the end of the day. So that's the business analyst role. And as a business analyst in any organization around the major economies in the US, in Canada, and in the UK, you are earning fantastic salary. In the UK, about £52,500 per annum on the average. In Canada, about $74,000, and in the US, about 85,000 US dollars. And what do you need to become a business analyst? So first of all, you need to have data analytics skills. People always ask me, do I need to learn Excel, Power BI, and SQL as a business analyst? It's a whopping yes. The modern business analyst needs to have a flair for data analytics, a flavor of data analytics. And I'll tell you the story of somebody who currently, I've said this story a million times, all right? It's very recent. Perhaps that's why it always comes to my mind every single time. This gentleman was out of work since February this year, 2023. He's in the UK. He has about 6 years experience in the UK, but he was out of work since February. He came to us to say, look, I want to join your business analysis program. All right. He joined the program. In fact, the class had already started when he said he wanted to join. So there was no discount available. He paid the full amount without the discount. When I looked at his CV, I saw that he couldn't even make sense of what Excel is. He couldn't make sense of what Power BI was. He didn't know anything about using those tools, Excel, Power BI, SQL. And I told him that, look, this is the reason why, one of the reasons, obviously, because his CV needed some working. He didn't have a LinkedIn profile. So we had to work on all of that. All right. The moment he added Excel, Power BI, SQL to his CV, made all the changes, he got a job towards the middle of November. So just about a month now. So less than a month after completing the program, he got a job as a business data analyst. And this is a new role that is becoming very well adopted across different regions, the business data analyst. All right. So you're a business analyst, but you have data analytics skills attached to your role. So that's very, very important. And that was the game changer for him. And today, he currently works in one of the energy companies, U Energy in the UK. That's the name of the company, YU Energy, by simply making these changes. So you also need to know process mapping to map out processes using Lucid Charts, Draw.io, and so many other diagramming tools. Project initiation planning. You're going to manage a lot of projects. So how to initiate projects, do your stakeholder analysis, get the right people into the project, leveraging different project management methodologies like Agile and Scrum. All right. You need to know software development lifecycle, how software are developed from the point of planning the software, designing the software, testing, implementing, maintaining, and so on and so forth, because you're going to manage a lot of projects like that. So you need to understand the software development lifecycle, requirements, fundamentals, elicitation, stakeholder analysis and engagement, and of course, ChatGPT for business analysis. Almost all our programs have ChatGPT embedded to them, and that's the revolving way we operate at Analytics. These are tools that you must know how to use as a professional because they make your work a lot easier and they make your work a lot more efficient. How long does it take you to learn this? 4 months. 2 months project-based classes and 2 months internship. And the internship this time around is going to be mind-blowing. So rather than the 1 month internship, which we've done all through 2023, from 2024, the internship would be for 2 months. And what you'd be doing is managing a web application development. All right. So you work with a company that needs to build a web app to optimize one of their processes. And you would be the business analyst supervising and managing that project. So you work on a real life project, a real life web application would be built, and that's the project you're going to manage. So it's not going to be a case of, I learned theories, I'm not sure what to do. If I go into an interview, I can't talk about what I've done as a business analyst. That would not ever happen because you would be the one managing the project. And during your 2 months learning, it's also project-based. So you're learning Excel by working on projects, Power BI by working on projects, and I'll share some of those projects with you before we wrap up today. That's the business analyst, all right? For the data analyst, a data analyst is that individual in a company that is responsible for making sense of the data that the company has. Every company generates data. Analytics generates data. Today, we have 244 people on the call. 245 has been going up and down. All right. How many of them are male? How many are female? What's the location? Where do they come from? And things like that. These are data sets, data points generated. How do we analyze the data to take decision? To say that, okay, we want to target this particular market. How do we target them? How many people do we have coming from those regions? Data analysts are the people that help you do what? Analyze the data, extract insights from the data for you to take data-driven decisions. And the data analyst works on 2 key phases of the data analytics value chain: descriptive analytics and diagnostic analytics. So descriptive analytics is simply what happened, answering the question, what happened. So take, for example, you work for a company, we've gotten to December, end of the year. You want to know what was our revenue from January to November, all right? What was our revenue from January to November? So January, February, March. So let's assume January, you made 5 million. February, you made 15 million, all right? And March, you made 10 million, okay? January is 5, February is 50, and March is 10. This is what happened. Of course, the data analyst would generate charts, bar charts, donut charts, different types of visualizations to show you what the data is saying. This is what happened. Descriptive analytics. What happened? Anybody would want to find out, why do we have 50 million in February? Why does February have a spike compared to January and even compared to March? Or why did we have a drop again in March? All right. Answering the question why something happened is diagnostic analytics. You are diving deeper to find out or answer the question, why did it happen? Descriptive is what happened. Okay. So we made X percentage of our revenue. We made 5 million in January. Out of that 5 million, 60% of our customers were male, 30% were female, 20% were from the UK, 30% were from Canada. That's what happened. Descriptive. Diagnostic is now answering the question why something happened. Why did it happen? Why did we have this 50 million? That sharp rise. Why did we have this decline after the sharp rise in February? So here you are trying to tie your data to patterns and trends and events that could have happened during that period. All right. And that's the role of the data analyst, utilizing different tools to help answer these questions. And to start, you must know problem solving. That's where you start from, defining the problem, framing the problem before you start to analyze. All right. You're going to learn how to use Excel to manage, summarize your data, create charts using different functions and tools, the pivot table, the pivot chart, and so on and so forth. You must understand how to use SQL, structured query language. This is the language that helps you interact with what? Databases. Databases is where organizations would keep their data. It's like a bucket where data is stored. How do you get the data from that database? You must understand SQL. That's the language that helps you interact with databases. You learn Power BI for data analytics and business intelligence. You learn Tableau for BI, business intelligence. You learn data storytelling, ChatGPT for analytics, and Microsoft Fabric for analytics. And how long does it take you to learn these skills and become a data analyst? For 4 months, 3 months project-based classes, 1 month internship. And a data analyst earns fantastic salary across different regions, the major economies, £40,000 on the average in the UK, $64,000 in Canada, about $72,000 in the US per annum on the average. And that's the data analyst. A data analyst role is absolutely, absolutely fantastic. When it comes to demand of jobs, demand for jobs available across the different regions, data analytics, business analysis are absolutely phenomenal. All right. We move to the next one, which is data scientist, the data science role. And the data science role is taking the data analyst role a step further, a step ahead. All right. The data analyst does descriptive. Who can remind me, when you say descriptive analytics, what question are you trying to answer? Somebody should type it in the chat. What question are you trying to answer? Descriptive analytics. Who was listening? What happened? Fantastic. You guys are all on point. Descriptive is what happened. What? Let's shorten it. What happened? How about diagnostic? When you say diagnostic analytics, type that in the chat. What question is diagnostic analytics trying to answer? Why? Brilliant. Why it happened. So when you know what happened, you can start to find out why it happened. And when you know what happened, why it happened, you can predict what is likely going to happen. What is likely going to happen. So you can look into the future. You can predict into the future. All right. So if from 2022, or from let's take it 5 years behind, let's say from 2015 till date, this is what our revenue has looked like. All right. And this is why our revenue has looked this way. We have spent X amount of money. We run X amount of promotions and things like that. Based on what has happened and why it happened, we can predict the future in 2024. Or we can predict what would happen before the end of December. That's predictive analytics. And to give you the power to predict and tell what would happen in the future, you must understand some level of what? Statistics, because you are going to forecast. You must understand some level of what? Statistics. Okay? That's where the data scientist takes what the data analyst does a step further by understanding statistics, which is the foundation and the lever that drives machine learning. So any machine learning model, machine learning algorithm you are familiar with. They are all hinged around statistics. And that's why it's impossible for you to be a data scientist without the understanding of statistics. Okay, so that's the data scientist for you. And as a data scientist, you are earning fantastic salary across the major economies. All right, fantastic job. £50,000 per annum in the UK on the average. In Canada, about $94,000, and in the US, six figures. The US tends to pay a lot more compared to other regions when it comes to tech roles. And that's why one of the things we advise our participants is to apply to jobs remotely. Even though you're in the UK, even though you're in Canada, even though you're in Nigeria, apply to jobs in the US remotely, and this gives you access to fantastic opportunities in the US, especially when it comes to remuneration. All right. The key learning areas as a data scientist, the first thing you need to learn is statistics. You can't run away from it. All right. So based on the statistics you've learned, you're going to apply different forecasting techniques using Microsoft Excel for analytics. So you're not going to jump into Python. And that's why we say our programs are beginner friendly. You don't need to have previous experience. All right. You don't need to have previous experience using any of the tools. They are beginner friendly. So Microsoft Excel, you're going to learn how to build linear regression models in Excel, naive approach to forecasting, exponential smoothing. You're going to learn statistics, learning the measure of central tendency, mean, median, mode. You're going to learn all these things you've learned in high school and learn them in a way that they are applicable. You see the application in the real world. All right. Once you move from Excel for predictive analytics, you learn Tableau for data visualization, data analytics, and then you learn SQL. As a data professional, you can't be a data professional without understanding SQL. It's impossible. SQL is very, very important. Is one of that tool that cuts across. I've seen different conversations around it. Oh, you don't need SQL. Oh, you should have data administrators or data base administrators and so on and so forth. Or SQL is absolutely important. Go check job requirements. You must know how to write SQL queries as a data professional. So as a data scientist is a key foundation for you to add to your tool stack. All right, Python programming, that's your fundamental language for your exploratory data analysis and also for your machine learning. So you have to learn Python. You're going to program, you're going to write Python codes to help you explore your data. So you're going to do exploratory data analysis, and you're going to use your Python for machine learning and computer vision. Okay, you're also going to learn GitHub for version control. You'd learn GitHub and Copilot for ChatGPT. All right, ChatGPT and GitHub Copilot. You're going to learn that as a data scientist. And of course, you learn Microsoft Fabric for analytics. So the Fabric material for data science inside Microsoft Fabric, which is a platform that has different areas for data analytics, data engineering, and data science. It's an all-encompassing platform. Recently, released technology from Microsoft. So it's not very popular, but organizations are adopting this platform. And for you having the skill, it gives you an edge and an advantage over your contemporaries that'll be applying for the same jobs. All right. You learn this in 4 months, 3 months project-based classes, 1 month internship. All right. And we move to the next one, which is HR analytics. So you see the data analyst that takes data, analyzes the data, gets insights from the data for business to take decisions. A HR analyst focuses not just on all types of data, but people-related data. So how many employees do we have? When did they join the organization? When did they leave? What's the absenteeism rates? What does it look like? In terms of our talent management pipelines, which channel or which channels do we get employees from? The employees that perform the best, where do they come from? Do they come from LinkedIn? Do they come from our website? These are the data sets HR professionals want to analyze. So you can optimize your talent pipeline. If our best talents come from LinkedIn, why do we bother trying to get from other channels? Can we optimize our LinkedIn and get the best out of there? If the number of people leaving our organizations are increasing, can we analyze and see people that have left? Who did they work with in terms of managers? What was their absenteeism rate? Can I identify any patterns? Is there any particular age group that is more susceptible to leaving more than other age groups? Can I identify these factors and use that as a basis to predict the employees that are likely going to leave? So if I know employees that are likely going to leave, I can have stay interviews with them, stay interviews instead of exit interviews, which most people are familiar with, all right, which is medicine after death. Somebody has told you I'm leaving, you have exit interviews. But if you can tell people that are likely going to leave because you've analyzed the data of people that have left, you can then have stay interviews to convince people not to leave and implement changes, make changes and implement strategies that will keep people within the organization. That's the role of the HR analyst. So you are moving from a mundane HR role where HR analysts are not very productive. And people actually look at HR as people that don't do anything. Although I'm not part of those people, but you'd agree with me, most organizations look at HR as a cost center. So you want HR to be more strategic, giving strategic decisions, strategic recommendation to grow the business. All right. So as a HR analyst, you have a unique skill, earning about 32,000 pounds per annum on the average in the UK. In Canada, about $71,000. In the US, about 62,000 US dollars. You saw Sonia. I went to Sonia's profile on her LinkedIn, and you could see Sonia had a direction. She knew what she wanted. Before she left Nigeria, she said, look, I'm going to equip myself with HR analytics skills so I can apply to jobs. Sonia got a job before she completed her master's program in the UK. So that's somebody, and that's what we always advise. For those who decide to travel, you move to Canada, you move to the UK, you move to the US, different other regions, you want to compete for the best jobs. They are there and they are available. But the people with the skills to compete are not readily available. So why not you? Why do you only have to focus on the care jobs and so on? The care jobs, the warehouse jobs are survival jobs that you might do for the meantime to earn some salary to ensure that you are able to take care of yourself. But afterwards, what's your career progression going to look like? You want to have skills that will give you that job at the end of the day. So as a HR analyst, you are learning problem solving, just like the data analyst, Excel, Power BI, and SQL. So HR analytics is simply the combination of data analytics plus HR. And you don't need to have experience in HR. All the things, the HR related concepts, the HR related areas, you're going to learn them, like HR analytics and performance evaluation, HR metrics and life cycle, HR analysis and dashboarding, collaboration and report automation, building your case and creating action. And this is where you learn how to communicate your newly acquired skill. So if you're a HR analyst in an organization and people are used to you giving, maybe during your performance review sessions every month end, you only talk about people that have gone on leave, people that have left the organization, nothing strategic. We show you how to change that narrative, to start presenting your dashboards, to start showing insights from the analysis you've done. And by doing this alone, we've had somebody who was an assistant manager, the manager of HR resigned, and he got the job simply because the company had seen his growth and track record of the new things he was doing on that role. And of course, you learn ChatGPT for analytics. How long does it take? 4 months. 3 months project-based classes, 1 month internship. All right? And that's the HR analyst. The financial analyst, just like the HR analyst who focuses on people data, the financial analyst focuses on what? Financial data. So the data analyst is a generalist, looks at different types of data, sales data, project data, revenue data, and so on and so forth, right? But the financial analyst focuses on what? Financial related data. So financial analytics is a combination of investment banking, financial analysis, and data analytics. So that professional who helps the company provide insights or generate insights from their financial related data to help them take decisions. Organizations are going to merge. You have mergers. You need to analyze. You need to do valuation. You need to build financial models when setting up new ventures. That's who the financial analyst is. So you need your data analytics skills, from problem solving to Excel to Power BI to SQL. And of course, you must understand the language of business, which is accounting. Financial analysis, know how to analyze different financial ratios to determine the performance of the company and the organization. Financial modeling, valuation, sensitivity and scenario analysis. And of course, we can't leave out ChatGPT for analytics. How do you leverage ChatGPT with Excel, with Power BI, with SQL, Tableau, and so on and so forth, all right? Learning timeline, 4 months, 3 months project-based classes, 1 month internship. And of course, in the UK, about £51,000 per annum. And that's because financial analysts are highly sought after. As professionals, every organization needs somebody who can help them make sense of their financial data, who is more specialized in that area. So they're highly sought after. In Canada, about 69,000 Canadian dollars, and in the US, about 74,000 US dollars. That's a financial analyst. And looking at the last data role for today, the last data role for today is the data engineer. The data engineers are the unsung heroes. They are the heroes in the organization that people don't really spotlight. They are these gentle people, they are nerdy, but they earn fantastic salaries because they do amazing work. So what does the data engineer do? What's their role? The data engineers are the people responsible for getting the data that the data analyst would use, the data scientist would use, the HR analyst, the financial analyst. The data engineer is responsible for getting that data into a location that is easily accessible. All right. So data will be generated from different systems. For the HR data, you have your HRIS, you have your HR system within the organization that tracks your performance, tracks your attendance and things like that. Transactions from POS, transactions on your websites, depending on the type of organization that you work in. Now, all the data from these different sources, how do you access them as a data analyst to do your analysis? The data engineers are the ones that build the pipelines. So it's like you having water somewhere outside your building, and you take a pipe, connect the pipe to that water that exists either under the ground, you sink a borehole, get the water and get it into the house for easy access. That's what the data engineer does. Builds pipelines that will get data from the website, get data from different other databases, get data from POS systems, get data from HRIS systems, from all these locations, and build pipelines and put all the data in a data warehouse. And from this data warehouse, the data analysts, the data scientists, the HR analysts, the financial analysts can then access the data from the data warehouse. All right. And that's the role of the data engineer. The data engineer is the provider. The data engineer is the person that makes the data easily available for other stakeholders within the business. And that's why they earn fantastic salary. In the UK, about £50,000. In Canada, about 94,000 Canadian dollars. And in the US, about 121,000 US dollars. 6 figures, fantastic salary. And as a data engineer, you are doing a whole lot of work, especially with SQL and Python. These are the two major tools, the two major technologies you're going to leverage. SQL, Structured Query Language, SQL, and Python. All right, you're going to learn Linux for your scripting, batch processing, and so on. You're also going to learn how to build custom ETL pipelines, extracting data from APIs, from databases, from websites, and so on. You'd learn Apache Spark, Apache Airflow for orchestration and scheduling and automating your pipelines. So once you've created those pipelines, you don't want them to break or to stop. You want the pipelines to keep on running and extracting data from wherever it's meant to extract and put it into that data warehouse in an automated manner. So you're going to do that with Apache Airflow. You'd learn cloud engineering using AWS, version control with GitHub, and ChatGPT and GitHub Copilot. And these are the technologies you'd learn as a data engineer. 4 months learning journey, 3 months project-based classes, and 1 month internship. All right, fantastic career path we've had. You saw Idris Adebisi. Idris Adebisi worked as a data engineer, and in less than a year, he's moved into a more complex role than data engineering, which is analytics engineering. Analytics engineering, all right? In less than a year, Idris was able to do that, okay? So I'm going to move into the last two roles for today. The Scrum Master role, of course. As a Scrum Master, you take a part of the business analyst role, all right? And your key responsibility is to facilitate projects using the Scrum methodology. All right. So you're like a project manager, but all you are doing is to facilitate sessions, facilitate meetings, facilitate your Scrum ceremonies, sprints, planning, and so on and so forth. Your major role is to ensure that a project goes on smoothly. So you're going to work with the business analysts, you'd work with the product owners, you'd work with the developers, and wherever there is a block, there is a blocker. Your role is to ensure that blocker is removed and taken away. The reason why the Scrum Master, it is a role that seems like you're not doing much because all you're doing is facilitate. Oh, what is going on today? Based on what we have said we want to do, have we done that? What are the blockers? You organize your meetings, organize your sprints. It seems like you're not doing much, but it's very, very important to any organization because 40% of projects fail. 40% of projects fail completely because you don't have good Scrum Masters handling those projects. So you're going to learn how to use tools like Jira and Trello for your project tracking, project deliverables, collaboration, and so on and so forth. And in terms of getting into tech, one of the easiest ways is as a Scrum Master. It is not technical in the sense that you're not learning any technical tool. You're not learning how to code. You're not learning any programming languages. All you're doing is learning techniques and learning methodologies to help you track and manage projects and ensure that the project is completed efficiently in a smooth manner. That's the role of the Scrum Master. You are a facilitator and more like a coach to ensure that you are able to get projects done effectively. And the salary of Scrum Masters, it astounds me. I'm always surprised myself. Scrum Masters command fantastic high salaries given their role and what they do. In the UK, for example, about £52,000. In Canada, about 74,000 Canadian dollars. And in the US, about 85,000 US dollars. You're going to learn introduction to Scrum, the Scrum team, and Scrum artifacts. You're going to learn increments, sprint backlogs, and so on, Scrum events, Nexus scaled Scrum, that's Scrum on a larger scale, and preparation for the Scrum examination, all right? So most Scrum Masters are one of the easiest ways to get a job as a Scrum Master because it's something you can learn, get into the space easily. You want to get to write the PSM certification, which would also help you and work with you to help you get that done. All right. You are going to learn different examination materials to help you prepare and so on and so forth. The Scrum program takes 2 months, 1 month learning and 1 month project work. So you see the project that the business analyst would work on, the web development project. The Scrum masters that join this program would also work on that project as well. So you are going to collaborate with the business analyst, the product owners, the data analysts, the software developers on that same project. And the Scrum Masters would form a key part of the activities on the project. All right. And last but not the least today is cyber security. And a cybersecurity analyst is simply an individual that helps to protect the organization's systems, the organization's data, and the organization's information. All right, that's the role of the cybersecurity analyst. You have organizations that are very, very concerned and care about the data. Even when you go on websites, you use different applications, you are a bit wary on the safety of your data. And that's where cybersecurity analyst comes in. And the role becomes a whole lot more interesting every single day because new type of techniques are developed to hacking systems to try to surmount or overcome measures already put in place to address cyber attacks. And that's why the cybersecurity role is a very, very interesting one. All right. As a cybersecurity analyst, you are earning absolutely fantastic salaries. Of course, in the US, also commands the highest pay for cybersecurity analysts in terms of, that's the US and Canada this time around. The US is $105,000, 6 figures. In Canada as well, 140, and in the UK, 57,000 pounds per annum. All right. You're going to learn introduction to cybersecurity, computer networking. You would learn information security principles. So these are the theoretical aspects of the cybersecurity program: offensive and defensive security, cryptographics, cyber threats and attack vectors. And you learn a lot of tools, VMware, Python, SQL, Wireshark, as you get to learn and complete the program. Endpoint security, web application security. When you build a web app, what security features, what type of measures do you put in place to ensure that you are able to keep that system protected? You need to understand cloud security. After COVID, one of the things that happened was a lot of organizations moved their data to the cloud. All right. So you have cloud platforms, you have cloud systems that are now available as a service, platform as a service. All right. Platform as a service, PaaS. All right. So you have cloud systems available as a service today. How do you protect those type of systems? And of course, if there's a cyber attack, how do you respond? Incident reporting, forensics, and so on and so forth. That's the cybersecurity program. 4 months, 3 months project-based classes, and 1 month working on real world projects. So these are the key areas. For the AI engineering, we haven't completed the curriculum. As soon as we've done that, we're going to share that with you, the AI engineering program, where you're going to build AI systems using no-code applications like Data Robot, Google Teachable, and so on and so forth. Okay. As soon as we are done with that, we're going to share the curriculum of that particular program. But these are the programs we offer from start to finish. And like I mentioned initially before we started, when going into any area in tech, you must understand how well that particular area would grow in demand. Will this role be, would it be relevant in the next few years? Am I going to have a job that is still relevant and command the same type of salary in the nearest future? And that's why reading reports like the World Economic Forum Future of Jobs Outlook report becomes very, very crucial. And those were the things we looked at. We did our analysis and we came up with all these programs that we offer. Typically, our programs are 4 months. It's a 4 months learning journey. You have 3+ months project-based classes. You're going to work on a capstone project, and depending on the program, you have 1 or 2 months internship. Business analysis, for example, is 2 months, all right? And data engineering is also moving to what? 2 months internship. Classes happens during the weekend, okay? Saturdays and Sundays. And this is simply because of the type of people that join the program. You have professionals, you have students who are doing their masters abroad, who are doing their PhDs and so on and so forth. So they want to have that time during the weekends to still participate and upskill, because that's the best way you get the skills to compete in the real world. So typically classes on Mondays, we have classes on Saturdays and Sundays, morning and evening classes to accommodate those that are in different regions. If I'm in Nigeria or I'm in the UK, I want to join a class that fits my time zone. If I'm in the US, I cannot join a class that starts at 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. on a Saturday morning, because 11 a.m. is around 5 a.m., 4 a.m. my time, all right? So I want to join a class that fits my schedule, and that's why we have 2 classes on Saturdays, morning and evening, except for the data engineering program and cybersecurity. So cybersecurity is just one timing for the morning class, all right? But we're working on that to see how we can bring in 2 classes for that as well. But for every other program, you have the morning, you have the evening class. And on Sundays, you have something we call the self-paced watch me do it videos. So your live classes are on Saturday. On Sundays, you don't have a live class, all right? You get to watch self-paced videos that you learn concepts and come to implement on a Saturday with your facilitator and with your trainer. Okay? So this is the way your program and your learning journey is structured. And of course, for the business analysis program, so for the BA, you have classes on Saturdays and Sundays, live classes. And you get all of this from the brochure, the program brochure, which I'll show you where to get, either on the website or the link we're going to share with you. You have the program brochures that shows you clearly the timing for each program. But all the programs happen during the weekend, Saturdays and Sundays, or Saturdays or Sundays. All right. Data analytics, HR analytics, financial analytics, data science. You have classes only on Saturdays. On Sundays, it's a more self-paced class. You can watch your class in the morning. You can watch your videos in the evening. You can watch it during the week. But on Saturday, you have a trainer like myself and other industry professionals that will work with you to help you learn this concept and work on projects. Okay. Of course, a lot of people I always love to share success stories and testimonials, because when I was starting, I wanted to see people that had done the same thing. Am I moving into a career that I would not find other contemporaries that have done the same thing, or am I doing the right thing? I want to see other people that have done it and I can follow their lead eventually. And we have so many success stories, a whole lot. What I'll advise you to do is, at the end of today's session, please, I'll show you our YouTube channel. You can go to our YouTube and listen and watch all the fantastic professionals. Listen to Oluwatosin, who works as a fraud analyst in the UK, stopping credit card frauds after joining our data analytics program. You have Ikmat, who got a full visa sponsorship with the NHS in the UK after joining our data analytics program. You have Shade, who had never done anything data before. She got a job as a data scientist as well in the UK. Listen to Shade, fantastic lady who is in the UK currently doing amazing stuff. Patience as well. Patience had gone for several interviews and she couldn't pass any of our interviews until she joined Analytics. Also listen and watch Patient's story. Absolutely phenomenal. Tammy, who is a lawyer who transitioned from law into business analysis. Ramat, who also got a full visa sponsorship with the NHS after completing our business analysis program. You have Benga. Somebody was saying he wants to connect with Benga in Poland. This is Benga. You would listen to Benga's story. Fantastic story. He's a Tenalytics alumnus. He was out of work for 2 years. And until he joined Tenalytics sometime in February this year, he was able to get a job. I worked with him. Other professionals within Tenalytics worked with him, prepared him for his interview. Nathaniel worked with one of the largest private research pharmaceutical firms in Barcelona as a data scientist after completing our program. This is Idris. I showed you Idris if a few minutes ago on LinkedIn. He's worked as a data engineer with Land Rover in the UK after completing our program. He currently works as a senior analytics engineer. We provided his references for the 2 roles. Listen to Michael as well. Michael, who joined our program this year, a few months ago. Michael is still within the program, data engineering program, and he's gotten a job as a sales engineer for a software company in the UK. And Michael clearly mentioned the mentorship and the interview helped him land this role. So many. I showed you Sonia earlier. You saw Sonia's profile. You saw what she's done. I showed you Victor. Listen to Chika as well, who got a job as a financial analyst. Listen to Solomon, who got a job as a financial analyst. Tony Eleja. Tony got a job with the NHS as a benefit analyst. And these are some of the things we'll show you. If you complete our data analytics program, you're not just going to search for data analyst roles. There are so many roles for you to look out for: sales analyst, benefits analyst, research analyst, database analyst, so many roles. He currently works as a benefit analyst with the NHS. We always say that the NHS has recruited the highest number of Tenalytics participants. It's a large organization and they're always recruiting. All right. Olugbemi as well. He's worked as a business data analyst with the Law Depot. Currently, he just recently got a job as a solutions analyst with one of the largest insurance companies in Canada. And so many testimonials like that. Like I said, we can't put everything on the slides because we're going to bore you with too many testimonials, but I'll show you our YouTube platform so you can go there, look at what we've done, what people have done, and you can relate to what they have been able to achieve. All right. So why should you learn with us? Of course, because of our achievements. This year alone, we've been able to help over 850 people transition from their classroom into getting their first jobs in tech. All right. And we are looking to get up to 1,000 before the year ends. Of course, we keep on collating these numbers as people reach out to us, and we know that they have gotten jobs eventually. Over 850 across different regions, from the UK to the US to Canada to Nigeria, Ghana, and across the globe generally. All right. We have one of the best, if not the best, curriculum because it's up to date. You'd see Microsoft Fabric in our data analytics program. You'd never see it anywhere else. Never. I can take it to the bank. Look for any data analytics program. You'd never find Microsoft Fabric. You'd never find ChatGPT for analytics. But as the trend moves on, we add these programs, these new areas into our program. So the curriculum is updated for you to get into the industry, hitting the ground running right on from the get-go. Industry experts, the best in the industry, teaching you, working with you, training you, mentoring you. You're going to see me every single Thursday. Myself and Efemena, the co-founder, are going to be with you every single Thursday, talking to you about different areas. The aspect I showed you today about tailoring your CV, there is a full version of that. 2 classes is a 2-class session of 2 hours each. All right. So we had to do it in 1 hour and rush. You could see that clearly. But the session itself on tailoring your CV, your past experience, and for those who have no experience, is a 2-session class of 2 hours each. So 4-hour session showing you how to tailor your previous experience. I take the session most of the time, or if Femena takes the session. So you have the opportunity to engage and ask key questions to put yourself in the right position to get a job. Blended training, whereby you get to learn during the weekend. On Saturdays or Sundays, I beg your pardon, depending on the program you've joined. On Sundays, you don't have to join a class. If you're in the data analytics, you're in the data science, you're in HR analytics, you're in financial analytics, you don't need to have a class on Sunday. You have your Watch Me Do It videos. You watch that on Sunday, and on Saturday, you come implement what you've watched on a project. It's project-based. We've talked about this, the additional employability services. I showed you all the amazing stuff from your CV to your LinkedIn and your internship. All of these things would get you to the industry ready, get you to be industry ready. Hit the ground running. You know what to do right on the first day of getting a job, right? The internship, we've talked about that. You're going to spend 1 month honing your skills, work on projects, and create a portfolio. And if we have enough time, I know we're out of time, I'll show you what a portfolio looks like of one of our participants and the portfolio they have. And those portfolio, the link to your portfolio must always be on your CV, so that before I invite you, I can measure who you are, the type of project you have worked on, and so on and so forth. Now, going into the prizes of each program, all right? Going into the prizes of each program that we offer, we are implementing some new initiatives. So when people ask, Adeza, how can 10Analytics promise interviews? And that's simply because we are working on getting that 100% certified. Okay, and I'll show you the work we are doing in that regard. Body Mentorship Hub is one of the things we are doing. So you've seen people like Idris that works with Jaguar. You've seen Olugbemi that works with one of a large organization, insurance company in Canada. You've seen all our participants that work in the NHS, most of them, a lot of them, you've seen the slides. We're going to bring them back, and they're going to work with you. They'll serve as your buddy. They're not going to be your mentors like I would be, but they would be your buddies. All right. So you want to ask a quick question. Oh, Idris, I'm in data engineering, just like you joined. How can I do this? What did you do when you were in this same situation? Can you advise me? So you have the opportunity to ask your contemporaries who have achieved what you're trying to achieve. So we are bringing them back so they work with you and form part of your support system across your journey of transitioning. And of course, we are enhancing the internship experience. I talked about the business analysis moving from 1 month to 2 months, where you work with software developers, the Scrum Masters, different key stakeholders to doing what? Building a web application, all right? So that's another new initiative for 2024. And lastly, we are partnering with major recruitment agencies, from Hayes to Robert Half to Korn Ferry to Kelly Services, to ensure that we have a pool of talents, and these recruitment agencies tap from that pool of talents to recommend and funnel into organizations. All right. So these are the new initiatives for 2024. And our next cohort starts on the 6th of January next year, just a few weeks to the end of the year, and the new year starts. And this is where we have the amazing discount for those who would be joining the program. We held a session like this last week, Saturday, on the 9th of December, and we offered this same discount. And we're only bringing the discount back because people requested for it. I couldn't meet up with the one for last week. Please, can you bring back the discount? And we obliged and said, okay, we're going to have another session on Sunday, so please join, and we're going to offer the same discount. The whole discounted slots were off right on Friday. So by Friday, all the discounted slots were on, and we have the same discounts for the first 20 people to join. So you form one of the first 20 people to join the program from this particular session. So the first 20 for data analytics, first 20 for business analysis, you get to enjoy our discounted fee. All right. And I'm just going to break it down for you very quickly. So if you register for either the data analytics, the business analysis, HR analytics, financial analytics, and the full stack data science program, any of these 5 programs, the full amount is $750. But then you get $150 discount right off the bat. The discounted fee, instead of paying $750, you then get to pay just £600 to be a part of the program and to enjoy every other additional services that comes with you being a part of Tenalytics, all right? Which, like I have mentioned, goes beyond just the training you have. From your training to your CV, to your LinkedIn, to your interview prep, and you also having Tenalytics on your LinkedIn profile, which gives you that credibility and social proof that you have done this before and you can get the job done. To also make it easy for people to pay and for you to also get to have a flexible payment plan, you can make the payment in 2 installments, the first installment and the second installment. All right. So instead of paying the whole $600 at once, you get to pay it in 2 installments of $450 and $150. And the 150 comes in 1 month after the program commences. Okay, so take, for example, I want to register for the full stack data science. I get to pay my first payment. And once I do that, I get into the class, I receive a welcome kit. The welcome kit contains all the materials you need for the program. Your lesson plan that shows you your timing, the dates, the different topics, and so on and so forth. You have the links to download your different tools, how to install. You have all those things in your welcome kit. Okay. And 1 month after you start, you get to pay the balance payment. All right. And if you're paying in pounds, instead of paying 625, you get to pay just £500. And you can also make your payments in 2 installments of 375 and 125 pounds. Now, one thing we also advise people to do is people ask the question. So I'm just going to answer before the question comes in because I know it would come. Okay. I want to register. I want to take advantage of this discount, but I don't have £375 today to pay. Can I pay something and then I pay the balance of the first payment before the program starts? And the answer is yes. All right. So let's take, for example, I can make a payment of £250 today, get my discount locked in, and then I pay the balance of 125 before the 6th of January when the program is meant to start. And I can pay my balance payment 1 month afterwards. All right. So these are the things you can also do to be a part of the program. A lot of people at the beginning of the year all made this New Year resolution. I'm going to get into tech. I'm going to transition. I'm going to learn this skill. I'm tired of care. I'm tired of warehouse. I'm tired of this. I want to get into a career path. But they never decided to take the action to start their career journey. For those that started, they are starting to reap the benefits. They've gotten jobs, they've gotten promotions, and they are doing far better than they have when they started with us at Tenalytics. All right. For data engineering and cybersecurity, the fee is a bit different. Okay. For data engineering, cybersecurity, the full amount is $900, but you get a discount of also $150. So you get to pay just $750 instead of $900. And you can also break the payment in 2 installments of $550, $200. If you're paying in pounds, you get to pay the discounted fee of $625, $460, $165 to be a part of the program. And the moment you make payment, you receive a welcome kit that contains everything you need for the program. Apps you need to install, applications, different materials, your lesson plan. And of course, for the Scrum Master, it's $450 for the full amount, and you get $100 discount for $350. $250 first payment and $100 1 month after the program commences. All right, I'm going to quickly show you how to make payments for those of you that would want to pay, and I'm going to take questions as well. And in Naira, absolutely, the Naira fee is there as well. Original fee is 900, discounted is 720, 540 first payment, 180 1 month after the program commences. And like I mentioned earlier, we've seen people do this, okay? For those who want to secure the discounts, because once the discount goes off, it happens every single month. In the year 2023, for example, let me tell you the story. From January till November, we didn't have any new cohort start in December, but we had classes from January to November. We give discounts usually when the programs are starting, all right? Some months we don't give the discounts, some months we give the discounts. People would always come back to beg when the discount is off. Unfortunately, they get to pay the original fee after the discounts. And that's why I always advise that rather than being in that situation, all right, be a part of the first 20. Now, I also know that for some people, they have questions around, I've always done something different. Maybe I'm an accountant. I don't know if financial analytics is good for me or if I should go for data analytics. Or I'm in logistics. I don't know if data analytics is the best for me or I should go for data science. You have those questions. We're going to have a clarity session. And in that clarity session, we're going to what? Answer those type of questions. So it's like a one-on-one. You're not going to have 180, 200 plus people. It's just a few people that wants to register to be a part of the program, but you need your questions answered around that area. My advice is go ahead, secure your discount, right? Make the payments, and then when you are filling the form to register, you'd see as part of what you need to select. I'll show you. It's either you select the program you have paid for or you select I need to speak to a professional. Once you select that option of I want to speak to a professional, we organize a clarity session for you. So you get to sit down with me, we get to discuss, you tell me what you think is the best for you. We advise you on what we think you should select, the program you should select, and then you take it from there. Okay, but the best thing for you to do, rather than wait for Tuesday when the discount is off, the 20 slots are filled, take advantage of the discount and then you schedule your one-on-one session. So before I start taking questions, I'm just quickly going to show you how to make payments using the link. The link will be shared, by my colleagues in the chat. You would see the links for you to access. Once you also receive the slide, the link is also on the slide. You have access to that as well. Once you click on this link that says pay with PayPal and Paystack, I click on that. It's going to take me into the Tenalytics enrollment page. The Tenalytics enrollment page. And that is where I make my payments. Okay. And I'm going to show you if you're making payments, if you're outside, if you are in Europe, within Europe, outside Europe, you are in Nigeria, you want to pay in Naira, any option, you have options available for you. All right. All you need to do, you have the non-Naira card payment. Okay, so you are paying in dollars, you're paying in pounds, you're paying in Canadian dollars. Make use of the non-Naira card payments. So I'm in Canada, for example. I want to pay for the Scrum Master. I'm going to use this link. I want to pay for the data analytics. I'm going to use this link. Okay, so I want to make my part payment for data analytics. Maybe I can't make the full payment today. I want to make the part payment. I click on first part payment, okay? And it takes me into the main Stack payments channel. And this is how we collect payments from those who wants to join the program, the main Stack. It's just going to load in a few seconds. All right, and I'll show you all what you need to do. So for the main Stack part payment, there is a minimum you can pay if you can't pay the full payments. And the minimum is 210. Okay, you see that there. The minimum amount is 210 pounds. And I'll show you just so that you have some level of clarity. All right. So let's assume I'm paying for the data analytics, right? The first payment is 375. But like I said, I can't pay 375 today because I don't have the 375, but I want to secure my discounts. I can pay the minimum, which is 210. So I go into this place and I type in 210. That's what I'm going to pay to secure my discount. And I click on reserve a seat. I enter my email. I enter my phone number, all right, and I click on proceed. Enter my card details and so on, and eventually I get to make payment. So now that I've secured my discounts by paying 210, before the 6th of January, when the program starts, I then need to complete the first part payment. Okay, so that's how you can structure. So it's very flexible for you to make your payments. And the moment you make payments, you're going to receive an automated receipt into your email that you have entered right at the contact, where you have the contact information. You enter your email, you're going to receive an email from there, okay, with the receipts. Now, let's assume I want to pay in Naira. Okay, I want to pay in Naira. I want to join the data analytics program. I want to join the business analysis. I click on the Naira payments. We use Paystack to collect payments. I click on that and it takes me to the Paystack enrollment page. I want to pay for the full stack data science. I click on it. Okay, and I can select either the full payment or the part payment. So I come here, I click on part payment. So I get to pay the part payment of 540 and I can pay my balance later. So I click on add to bag and then I click on checkout, enter my name, first name, last name, enter my email, phone number. Now, when you enter your email, you're going to receive an automated receipt into your email after making payment. Now, I want to pay in Naira, but I don't have 540,000 to pay. Okay, I want to pay maybe 300 to get to be a part of the program. You can do a direct transfer, right? You can do a direct transfer. So if I scroll down, or you scroll down, you'd see the direct transfer option to a Fidelity bank account, Tenalytics Fidelity bank account. All right. And you can pay your part payments in there. Take a screenshot of your proof of payments because that's very important for us to confirm your payments. And then once you have taken a screenshot or you have your receipt of payments, you go to upload your receipts. All right, go to upload your receipt, still on that same platform. And then you enter your details, type of payment, initial or full payment. I paid initial payment. You click on next, and then you fill all the details. All right, click on next. You fill all your details. You read the terms and conditions, click on next. All right, this is just me walking you through how to fully register and have everything you need. Enter your first name, your last name, your registration, your email, gender, click on next. Okay, so I also want to show you where you select you want to speak to a professional, okay? But you've taken advantage of the discount already. When did you make payments? You select the date. So let's assume I made payment today, 17th. You upload a screenshot of the payments, all right? What mode of payments? Let's assume I paid using a transfer, direct transfer to our pound account. I select that, click on next. Okay. The name of the account. So let's say Adaiza Suleiman. All right, click on next. What program did you register for? Data analytics, cybersecurity. But if you're not sure, but you want to secure your discounts, this is where you select I need to speak with a professional. So you click on that. So by the time you submit, we organize a session with you. All right. And before you start, we're going to walk you through the areas where you're a bit confused, help you dissect it until you're able to take a decision, and then you join your preferred program eventually. But by doing that, you would have secured your discount already and you won't have to pay the full amount. So you do that next until you have all the details. And so when do you want to start? You can also defer. So you can make payments today, take advantage of the discount. You can defer a month into the future. So instead of starting on the 6th of January, you start on the 3rd of February. That's when the next cohort would start. All right. So you'd have played a smart one by taking advantage of the discount at the end of the year, but starting in February, or you have commitments in January, you won't have the time to join in January, you can join in February. Okay. So you select your dates, enter your number, and then your country of residence. How did you find out about us? All right, you select how you heard about us. Was it from the NSS Bradford? Was it from Dr. Muiwa, Efemena, Authentic Traveling? You select how you heard about us, click on next until your form is complete, and then you submit. All right, straightforward process and straight to the point. I'm going to take questions. Yes, Musibawi is saying the last time I attended this webinar, it was 300, if I'm not mistaken. Absolutely. The fee is different. And we made the announcement in November that the fees were going up. And the reason is simple. The new additions we've made, because business analysis, for example, from 1 month to 2 months, guaranteed job interview 1 month after the program starts. You're having the body mentorship program where you are having people that have done the same thing, gotten jobs. They started like you are, they knew nothing. We are bringing them back on board. All right. So all of these new initiatives are the reasons why the fee went up by some few extra percentages. And we make that announcement in November. Some people took advantage in November and they registered and paid for January. Okay. And they were able to get fantastic rates at that point in time. Ugochukwu is saying, really, some training schools charge more? Absolutely, they charge far more than this. And we are well aware of other people that they don't do as much as we do. I'll tell you for a fact, take it to the bank. They don't do half of what Tenalytics would give to you in terms of the additional services, not the training now. All right. You can get training anywhere. Okay. Beyond Tenalytics, anywhere. But in terms of CV, mentorship, interview prep, and all the other things we bring to the table, very few organizations will do this for you. And they will charge you times 5 of what you see on your screen at the moment. Okay. All right. Thank you for that, Ugochukwu. Absolutely. I agree with you on that. 100%. Okay. So when you make the payment, how do I pay if I'm in Ghana? So Ansu, if you're in Ghana, there are so many ways you can pay. Our Ghanaian participants pay using either the pay stack or the main stack. Preferably, you can pay using pay stack. Okay. Because pay stack is easy. You can use pay stack to collect payments from anywhere in Africa. All right. So Ansu, make use of the pay stack option. That's how the Ghanaians who have joined our program. We've had Ghanaians, Rwandans, we've had Ugandans join our program before. What makes me interested is the duration of the course. Others take 1 year. Anybody that takes 1 year or more to learn, they don't know what they're doing or they have no clue. It's a typical university system that will take you 1 month, 1 year to learn. All right. You're going to learn theories upon theories, work on publications and projects, and so on. Work on publications and research work, not projects that are relevant in the real world. What if I don't learn in 4 months? So what does that mean? I'm not sure I understand your question. What if I don't learn in 4 months? Will I get kicked out? So do you want to expatiate on that question, Untukwe? All right. Okay, so what I'll do before we wrap up for today, and if you have questions, you can use the hand raise icon and I'll call you up to speak. Alumni would get discounts, definitely. So if you're a Tenalytics alumnus and you want to join any of the programs, just send us a message, okay? Or send us an email. Let me show you the email you're going to send to. Remember, the discount is just for the first 20 people, all right? There are more testimonials for you guys. I'm not going to bore you with them, but you have the opportunity to go through them. Listen to all the fantastic professionals that have done it before, just like you would also be starting your journey. Okay. And you can reach out to us on enquiries@tenalytics.io. Okay. Enquiries@tenalytics.io. This email or any of these numbers. Just send us a message, send us a WhatsApp message, and somebody will respond to you. Okay? All right. So while I take questions, okay, so I mean, if I'm not competent enough. There's nothing like not competent enough, Ndukwe. And I'll tell you how that is. Now, except you don't attend classes, except you don't work on your assignments, you don't work on projects. And if that's the case, we'll find out what the problem is. All right. If you have maybe issues with work and so on, we find a way to fix you into a cohort that would ensure that you are able to, maximize your schedule and align it with the work that you have. All right. Every single program is beginner based, beginner friendly. So we don't expect that you know anything. All right. And when we work with you for 4 months, if you listen to it, I wish I could play. I'm going to play one testimonial so you listen. All right. You listen to what people are saying. They knew nothing, or they always thought that they knew Excel or they knew Power BI or they knew Python until they joined the 10 Analytics program and they saw how much they could learn within a very short period of time. Okay. Registering for both data engineering and cybersecurity 900. No, it's not for both, Ansu. One each. Data engineering, cybersecurity, 900 each, not for the two, each. All right. Every single program you see is per program, not a combination. You can't do the two at once. It's practically impossible. Okay, you can only do one program at once, so you start with one. So you're registering for either the data engineering or the cybersecurity. So if you want to register for the two, maybe start data engineering, finish that, and move on to the cybersecurity. Then you pay for the two times two, not 900 for the two. I hope that clarifies, Ansu. Is there any implications of including ChatGPT content? No implication at all whatsoever, Yahaya. Nobody would know it's from ChatGPT because you're not going to copy and paste. You're going to copy, you're going to modify, and then you paste. All right. So when you copy and paste is where you have problems or you have issues. And that's why you have to be smart about the things that you do. All right. Okay. So let me see if there are more questions. Okay, I think I've answered that already. Can I get remote roles? Absolutely. Absolutely. And let me show you some people that work remotely. Currently, I have them on the slide. Victor had worked remotely before when he was still working with Hugo. He's moved from Hugo to Tangerine, Africa now. He worked with Hugo in Chicago, Illinois as a people operations analyst. It was a full-time job, but it was remote. Okay, he worked out of Lagos, Nigeria for the company in the US. Abdul Rashid as well worked out of Ilorin in Nigeria. He lived in Ilorin, Nigeria, worked with Chow 420 in the US as a data scientist, fully remote, earning in dollars, spending in Naira. Yeah, for those two people, I think, yes. They are the only two I have on my slides, but there are numerous number of people that get jobs, data analyst, business analyst remotely. I'm just quickly going to show you what the platform looks like, and then I'll take more questions and we call it a day. So when you register, what do you expect? How do you learn with us? What do you see? So I'm just going to go to the classroom very quickly. So when you register, you join a classroom, all right? And you'd see all the classrooms I have because I'm a part of all the classrooms, okay? But let's take the cohort, the last cohort for the year 2023, which is November. Like I said, we didn't have any new cohort start in December, but let's check business analysis, for example, the November cohort. And you can see business analysis EU. You'd see business analysis NA. So the EU, for those in Nigeria, the UK, Europe, similar time zone, you'd be in this class. For those in Canada, the US, North America, you'd be in this class, okay? So if I click on business analysis EU, I'm going to click on classwork. All right. So you'd see what the platform looks like, your class, your classroom. Okay. And I'm just going to scroll all the way. So before I do that, you'd see your attendance and feedback form. So after every class, you give feedback. And then based on your feedback, the classes are always iterated to ensure that they fit what exactly you want. All right. Interview prep and clarity session. So you have an interview. You're going to book your interview session from your platform here. You have job sites, links where you apply to jobs. You have them provided for you. And I'm going to use, so you have a BA CV template, because one of the things you do is you're moving into a business analyst role. You need a standardized template. So that's a BA standardized template available for you. All you need to do is populate, which you'd have been shown how to do during your CV review sessions. Okay. So I'm going to scroll all the way to the bottom. For those that started in November, what they have been doing. So the first thing you'd have is your welcome, which is like an onboarding for you. You have your welcome kits, which you only get after you have made payments. All right. The welcome kits, like I said, contains your materials, your applications, how to download and install. If I click on that, you'd see what it looks like. Okay. You'd see what it looks like. Of course, you'd see a welcome video from myself and Femena, and then you'd see your lesson plan, all the classes you have. And you'd also see how to download your applications, the different, your CV review sessions, how to navigate the job market, everything. You have how to install Microsoft Office, how to download and install PostgreSQL. You have everything in your welcome kit. Okay. Now, you also have further information in terms of installations like Power BI for Mac users, which can be a bit tricky. You have the steps on how to install this, all right, for Mac users. Okay, you have an onboarding session, which is also a skill assessment session that we do before the program starts to gauge the pulse. We take the pulse of the class to see if this is a totally beginner class, if you have X number of people who have little experience. We just take the pulse of the class to know who we are coming to teach. Okay, so we do that before you start. And then you have your very first Microsoft Excel class for the business analysis. Now, looking at the class material, okay, like I mentioned, the classes are what? Beginner based. So you have your slide. Let's click on the slide to have a look. So you have the breakdown of Microsoft Excel. It's a spreadsheet application. You have ISOSA, who is the senior data associate that will take you in your business analysis with Excel, about Excel. So you're learning about Excel. You learn what a row is, what a cell is. You start from that basic. So like Undukwe that was asking, what if I don't learn? So you're starting from the basic. You're not starting from complex stuff. You're starting from the fundamental, the foundation, so you can build on that. Okay. So that's the, basic stuff. That's what your slide looks like. And then you get a case study, because everything you learn in theory, you're going to apply it in practical, in a business case scenario. Okay. Not hypothetical, not arbitrary, but business related problem. Because as a business analyst, a data engineer, a data scientist, you're going to get hired to solve problems, not to build fancy charts or fancy dashboards, but to solve problems. Okay. So this is the case study you're going to work on for Glow Gadgets, where you're going to help them make sense of the data that they have. And the beauty is every single thing that is done in class, you have the class recording. So if you miss this class, for example, all you have to do is come back to the platform, access the link, you'll see everything that was done. So you go to the class material, you have your data sets, you have your slides, you have the case study, you see what happened in class during the class recording, and then you can implement all the things you must have missed on that particular day. Second Excel class, you have your material as well, which is another case study that will be used to drive home some concepts. So this is a case study for ABC Retail. It's an e-commerce company. You're going to solve a problem for ABC Retail. You want to understand their customer preference, improve their cart conversion, explore time-based trends, and so on and so forth. All right. That's what the class looks like, case study based. And one of the things that recruiters would always want from you apart from your technical skill, is communication. You must know how to communicate your insights. You must know how to communicate and sell yourself. And there's no better way to learn how to communicate than through your case study presentations. So for everything you do in Excel, in Power BI, in SQL, as a business analyst, you're going to present. You'd work in groups and then you present. Okay, so this is a case study presentation where everybody will take turns, make their presentations in groups. So one person represents the group, and another group presentation, another person would represent the group. So everybody gets to present. And if you ever miss out on something, the recording is there. So if you miss out on this case study presentation, perhaps you had something that came up unprepared for in the office, you can come back, watch the recording, and you have access. And you go all the way. You have your mentorship session 1, and you move all the way. You have assignments. You have another case study presentation on Power BI, mentorship session 2, CV review session, drop-in session, which is a session during the week for those who joined class on Saturday or Sunday and did not understand some concepts. So Ndukwe, back to you. You asked the question, what if I don't know anything at the end of the day? So you have your drop-in sessions, all right? During the week, you get to meet with your trainer and your facilitator, and you have a more personalized interaction. This is my problem, okay? And somebody would work with you to get that problem resolved. So you're not going into the next class with that same problem. You get it solved before the next class. That's what the drop-in sessions are meant for. All right, mentorship session 3, you can see the title, tailoring your previous experience. I took this, what we did today, similar to what we did. I took this particular session, tailoring your previous experience. I don't know, there's something about Google that doesn't show all the title. All right, tailoring your previous experience. That's what this session was. I took the session during the mentorship. It was a CV session where I showed you if you're a teacher, you were a health professional, you've worked in care, you've worked in any other role, and you want to tailor your experience, your previous experience, to your preferred career path. That was a session where we did that. Okay. LinkedIn optimization, introduction to business analysis, project initiation. So every single class or module has its materials and also has the recording. So you can see this is a process mapping case study. Process mapping case study. You're going to work on this case study. It's a process map. You can see the RACI matrix is a template that will be given to you. So this is what the platform looks like. You have the opportunity to interact with industry professionals across different regions. And definitely, you can access the brochures still using the same link that you would use to make payments. You'd still get access to all the program brochures. And from there, you can access the different brochures for the program, all right? If I click on business analysis, for example, I can then see the nitty-gritty of what I'll be learning as a business analyst. Let me expand this a bit. And after this, we'll take questions and call it a day. All right. So this is the business analysis brochure showing you who the business analyst is, the program overview, and of course, the curriculum, what you're going to learn. All right. You're going to learn Excel. You're going to learn Power BI, SQL, ChatGPT for analytics, project initiation planning, Agile Essentials, software development lifecycle, requirements elicitation, requirements analysis, requirement fundamentals, requirement specification, requirements approval. And you see all the details, stakeholder analysis and engagement, setting up performance measures, and you see your roadmap from where you start the first module to the final module. All right. You'd also get to see your timing depending on your region. If you're in the UK, Europe, America, Africa, Middle East, Asia, you have your timing that fits your time zone. All right. And you get to work on amazing projects. So you see the type of projects you work on, and you are trained by some of the best in the industry. And I'm going to show you that shortly. Who your trainers for the business analysis programs. Of course, you're going to see me. I'm going to work with you in your data analytics aspect. And then you have Linda. Linda is going to be one of your facilitators, over 10 years experience as a business analyst in different organizations, helping them drive change, and also an expert with the use of process mapping, requirement analysis, and so on and so forth. You're also going to learn from Sheung. Oluwaseun is a product reliability engineer with visa in the UK. All right. Now, I want you to tell me, if you looked at this particular job title, product reliability engineer, does it sound anything like business analysis? Yes or no? Just type it in the chat. Does product reliability engineer sound like a business analyst role? Just type in a yes or no in the chat. I want to hear from you. What do you think? When you come across the job title, product reliability engineer, does this sound business analysis to you? Zion says, of course. Of course, for people that know, they will know that yes, it is. But for those that don't know, perhaps you definitely realize that you will find it difficult to understand that it's a business analyst role, but of course it is. And Sheil is going to work with you. He's worked with MTN Nigeria as a business analyst. He's worked with different organizations, done his master's in the UK, and he currently works with Visa as a product reliability engineer. You're also going to work with Olabisi Oladimeji, who is a Scrum Master and business analyst with Access Bank in Nigeria. And you have a pool of fantastic facilitators at your beck and call. All right. So that's the business analysis. You have access to the brochures, which are available for you to look at. Okay. So I'm going to take more questions, and I think we're just going to do Q&A, and we close in about 10 minutes. Q&A, and then we close in about 10 minutes. So I can see I have some hands up, so I'll start with them. I'll start with Sandra, and then I'll move on to Neka. So Sandra, I've asked you to unmute yourself. Please go ahead, Sandra.
Good evening. Thank you so much for your time, for taking time to educate us on this. I just wanted to ask a quick one. Is there any age limit to all these courses, mostly data analysis, that you really talk much on?
Okay, is there an age limit to this?
Yes, that's what I'm asking.
It doesn't exist anywhere. All right. Again, any organization that it puts any age requirements, you would never find it anywhere except maybe in any third world country. All right. But you're looking to get jobs in the major economies. Nobody would put any age requirement. In fact, putting any age requirement is discrimination. Okay. Now, if your question is, I am over 50, I'm over 40, and I want to learn this. We've had people I had this gentleman who he worked with different oil and gas companies in Nigeria, and he was preparing for his retirement. And he said, look, I want to remain relevant when I retire. I want to work as a consultant, and I want to have these skills so that I can, speak confidently with my clients on things like this, on data analytics and so on. He joined our data analytics program. When he completed that, he joined the data science program, and he was retiring from the oil and gas sector. I don't know his exact age, but he wasn't young at all. All right. Age is not a restriction. As long as you have the time, you stay committed to your program, it's not a problem. No company would discriminate against you because of age. All right. I hope that answers your question. Florence says I'm 51. Absolutely. Age is not a limitation. All right. Somebody's asking, please, do I need to still write CBAP after business analysis? I would say it's not necessary. All right. And I'll tell you the reason why. Our business analysis program is a combination of the CBAP and the BCS curriculum. So the BCS is the equivalent of CBAP in the UK. All right. Now, the CBAP and the BCS, we took the two curriculum and we used that to create our business analysis curriculum. The difference is CBAP is theoretical. I can prepare for CBAP in 3 weeks, write the exam, and I'll pass. But can I do the work of a business analyst? Absolutely not. Why? Because I've not used any tool. I've not implemented any of the things I've learned practically in a real world situation. All right. So CBAP is an exam, is a certification you write. However, that is not a determinant for you getting a job or for you even getting recognized at all. And if you do a lot of search, if you search for jobs, that's how you can test. I always tell people this. People ask the question, oh, as a data analyst, is there a certification and so on and so forth? There is none. There is no industry regulated certification for a data analyst, for a data scientist, and so on and so forth. All right. And nobody would ask, just search for it yourself. Okay. Go to jobs, go to Indeed, go to read.co.uk, go to Glassdoor, search for data analyst jobs. Okay. Go on LinkedIn, for example, click on jobs and search. Okay. So let's search data analysts. You would never see anywhere, it doesn't exist, where certification is one of the requirements. All right. So data analyst, business intelligence analyst, you look through the requirements, academics. So they'll ask for, of course, you need to have a degree. What else? That's pretty much it. You need to have a degree, 1 to 2 year commercial experience as a data analyst or business intelligence, and so on. So that's how you find, or you answer that question gets answered. Okay. I can tell you all I need to tell you, but all you need to do, Chiamaka, is do your search yourself in the country, depending on where you are, search for the jobs. Part of the requirements, do they need you to have, a particular certification? And that's how you can tell if you need or not. But I'll tell you for free that you don't. I have never, and I don't think I would rather it's a skill-based economy, all right, where you focus on your skills and employers will test for your skills beyond. I know how the way CBAP is, and so many of these certifications, they're very easy to pass. If you can read, if you can cram, you pass those exams, even though you know nothing about what the role is all about. Okay. Let's see. It's a nice to have, Chamaka, if I can put it that way. It's a nice to have, but it's not compulsory to have. Somebody's asking, I can't see the name. Could there be a path to a certification or global? There is no certification for data analysts. There is none for data scientists. Every organization comes up with something. So you'd see Google design something, all right, to make money, obviously. People write and they think the Google certification makes you a data analyst. It doesn't. Okay, so you'd see IBM, they come up with theirs. You'd see Meta, that's Facebook, they come up with theirs. Everybody comes up with theirs just to make money. But I'll tell you for a fact, there's no industry regulated certification for a data analyst, for a data scientist. Microsoft has theirs as well. And you see all these companies come up with their own programs here and there. All right. I want you all to also go to YouTube. Go to YouTube, search for Tenalytics. Okay, go to YouTube, search for Tenalytics, and watch the amazing materials we have for you. Super amazing. All right. We've had so many sessions. Oh, sorry. We've had so many sessions over the last few days. All right. This is one of the sessions of Femena teaching how to build your first web scraping pipeline. But the most important is listen to the testimonials. All right. And listen to what people had to say about their experience. There are so many of them, but take our time to listen. And I want you guys to also check out something. All right. It's called competence over certifications. Competence, just search for it, over certifications. It's a good read. In Africa, we love paper. There's a paper ceiling, and it's very, very important in Africa. People love certifications. Google competence over certification. It is a BCG report. I'm going to see if I can find it. BCG. Yes, over credentials. Okay, competence over credentials. Read this particular article from BCG, The Rise of the Skill-Based Hiring. Organizations are moving away from credentials. They don't even need your BSc anymore, not to talk of certifications. They need your competence. What can you do? These organizations are going to give you data sets during the recruitment phase. Analyze, come and present to us. Can I see your portfolio? What have you done before? Let me see what you've done. And based on that, based on how you're able to analyze the data and present, they get you the job. And for the people that have gotten jobs from Tenalytics, that's exactly how they've done it. So don't pursue things that are not relevant, all right? And pursue what is relevant. Okay, I do not have a foundation on coding, no SQL. SQL is one of the easiest programming languages you would learn. Okay, you don't need a foundation. SQL is like writing English, very straightforward. I am also going to start from the basic. Okay. Absolutely. Sam is asking if the timing for Saturday morning classes are not convenient. Can one download the video for that class? You can download all your class recordings. So all the live classes, you have access to download all your live classes. They are yours. The live classes are yours. You have access to download every single class. Okay. I think I'll take one more question and then we'll call it a day. Nneka, I'm going to come to you. You can unmute yourself and ask a question. Nneka.
Hello, everyone. Can you hear me, please?
Loud and clear. Go ahead, please.
All right. So I worked as an accountant in Nigeria before coming to the UK to study. And I've had a discussion with a friend. I was looking into, going into a finance analyst role, but he was like, I need to do data analyst first.
Okay.
I need to be a data analyst before I can become a finance analyst. So what's your take on this? Do I need to pay for the data analyst training and then go for the finance analyst training?
No, absolutely not. You don't have to do that. That's like repeating. You are going to repeat a whole lot of things if you do that. And I'll show you very quickly, Nneka. Now, the key areas you need to learn to be a data analyst. Number one is problem solving. If you can see my screen, number one is problem solving. Let me put it on slideshow so it's clearer for you to see. Problem solving, Microsoft Excel for analytics, structured query language, Power BI, and Tableau. All right. Now, going to financial analytics. Let me quickly move to financial analytics. You're going to learn the same problem solving. In fact, the problem solving class for both the financial analyst and the data analyst are the same. So, you being in the university, for example, you have these general courses you get to take with other people. You join the same class for the problem solving. All right. Excel, you then break away. You move into your own specific class for Excel because your Excel would now be analyzing data that are financial related. So you're going to learn Excel as a data analyst. You're not going to learn, you learning Excel again as a financial analyst is learning the same thing. All right. Power BI is already in the data analytics curriculum. You joining financial analytics again and learning the same Power BI is repeating what you would have already learned. So you don't need to learn data analytics. I totally disagree with it. All right. So what you need to do is the financial analytics program is a combination of data analytics and the financial aspects of you becoming a financial analyst. So you'd already learn all the areas with regards to data analytics, your problem solving, your Excel, your Power BI, and your SQL. In fact, what people do, let me tell you this, and it will interest you, Neka. People who complete the financial analytics program also apply to data analyst jobs because they have the skills, all right? Excel, Power BI, SQL, problem solving, and they get the jobs. So they can apply to jobs as data analysts. They can apply to jobs as financial analysts. The difference is the data analyst has one additional tool or skill that they don't have, which is Tableau. All right.
Right.
So as a financial analyst, yes, go on, Ineka.
So which should I register for? Should I just go for the finance analyst training at once?
Absolutely, at once. You don't need to do one, do the other one. Financial analytics, you go for that one full sweep. You get all the things you need from there. Okay. All right. I can see iPhone. I think I'll take iPhone's question. iPhone, go ahead, please. You don't have your name there, but I can just see iPhone. I've asked you to unmute yourself.
Oh, hi. Yeah, sorry. Good evening.
Good
Thank you
evening.
very much for your time. Really
Right.
appreciate it. My question is about your drop-in session. You mentioned that during the course, you do have drop-in sessions and sessions for CV review. I wanted to ask, for us that we are full-timers, we only have time during the evenings. Are the sessions going to be in the evening, or that's what I would like to know? Thank you.
All right. Very good question. Sorry, I didn't get your name.
My name is Jacqueline.
Jacqueline. All right. Fantastic question, Jacqueline. So the drop-in sessions, like I mentioned, I explained earlier, these are sessions where you join class on Saturday, you join the class on Sunday, you have some issues that cannot be addressed via message. So maybe you had the problem, you sent the message on your WhatsApp group, your facilitator responded, oh, Jacqueline, you need to change this to that. You changed it, but it still didn't work. So you have those sessions during the week in the evenings. And most of the time in the evening is agreed in class. Okay, so that it suits everybody. All right, so it happens in the evening, sometimes from 9 p.m., 1 hour at most, because you don't have, it's not like a full class happening all over again. It's Jacqueline, it's Mary, it's Neka who has one or two questions. They've tried one or two things, they couldn't get it. They just need somebody to show them, oh, this is what you need to do to get this problem resolved. So it's in the evenings, 100%. Of course, like I mentioned, about 90% of our participants are full-time employees or their master's students would have classes during the day. Master students or PhD students would have classes during the day. So it's in the evening. For any other session that happens during the week, it's also in the evenings, always in the evenings, because we consider and we take note of the fact that people go to work and they'll come back, later during the day and so on. So drop-in sessions and so on and so forth, those would happen in the evening, usually agreed with your facilitator and your trainer. They discuss that in class. You guys agree, oh, let's have it at 9 p.m. Let's have it at 9:30. Let's have it at 10 p.m. We at your beck and call. Anytime you decide you agree is fine, we work with you to ensure that we get that done. Okay, so that's the way it works. I hope I answered your question, Jacqueline. Okay. Let me see. I don't have a university degree. Will I still be able to get a job after completing? Wait, I had somebody like that. Okay, we've not had so many, all right, but I can remember a particular gentleman. He worked in Nigeria. He didn't have a degree, no university degree. He didn't have a HND. He didn't have an ND, nothing. So he joined the program, the business analysis to be specific. After completing the program, he got a job with Bolt in Nigeria. He moved from Bolt, he got a job with Uber, and he moved from Uber to the UK, and he currently works as a business analyst with an organization in the UK. Okay. So like I mentioned earlier, a lot of organizations are moving away from credentials, certificates. Do you have the skill? That's what they want. Okay. So this gentleman had no university degree. He didn't have what do you call it now? Polytechnic, nothing. But he had the skill. He worked on projects. He had that on his CV, highlighted his projects. He could do process mapping. He could use Jira. He could use Draw.io, Microsoft Visio, all those tools as a business analyst. And he had the opportunity to interview for a role. Got a job with Bolt, stayed with Bolt for about a year, moved to Uber, and from there he moved to the UK. So yes, you can, absolutely, Jerry. All right. After 7 years in sales, which fields? Sales, I always say this all the time.
Business analyst.
Sales analyst, absolutely. You took it off my mouth, honestly. Sales analyst, and you can get that from either financial analytics or even data analytics. All right. But I would advise you go for financial analytics because if you're in sales, commercial analytics is also a role you would look at. So as a financial analyst, you're not just going to look for financial analyst role. Commercial analytics is a hot career path, you know, currently in the market. A lot of people are not very, aware of that yet, but commercial analytics, just Google it. You'd see that it's a fantastic career path. Okay. Can you share contacts? Okay, just in case you're stuck, I'm going to share the contacts again one more time. And you can just take a screenshot of it, all right? Or you can just go to our website. Our contact is on the website as well. But you can just pick it up from here. I'll just go back there. Whoops. Okay, so enquiries@10analytics.io. Send us a message. We're going to respond, or you send us an email to any of these, or send us a WhatsApp to any of these numbers. Somebody will respond to you. All right? Or engage us on any of our platforms on Instagram, on LinkedIn, on Facebook, Meta, I've said Meta, on X, and any other platform. All right, we'll answer you and be a part of your journey. Where can I find the curriculum? Somebody would share the link, and it's business analysis, not business analytics. People make this mistake. Business analytics is equivalent to data analytics. All right, they're pretty much the same. But business analysis is what is different. That's where you do your process mapping. That's where you work on projects, monitor projects, track projects, stakeholder analysis, and so on and so forth. Okay. So for the person asking, how do I get the brochures? All you have to do is just click on the link to make payment, the same link where you can make payments, or you can just simply go to the website. I'll just quickly show you 10analytics.io. All right. You go to the website, go to learn, go to instructor-led courses. All right. And you see the different programs. Okay. So if I go to business analysis, view course details, download brochure, and you'd have access to the brochure. Okay. I think this is just going to load. I don't know why it's taking time, but you should get access to the brochure from the website. Okay, this is taking time to load. Let me see. Let me just be sure that. Or Elijah, if you can share the link with the gentleman so that he can use that. I'm just going to show you. Let me see. So if I go to data analytics, for example, download brochure. Okay, I think it's just a network something we're going to address. You should be able to get the brochure from here, but it's taking time to come up. Okay, so this is up now. So this is the data analytics. So it's just going to take a while, I think, because the file is a bit large, but you can get that from the website as well. Okay, or you can just simply use the link you have on the slide and you have access to the brochure. So for those that have questions, 10 years in marketing, 8 years in finance, this and that, you're going to get a link in your email to the for you to indicate that you want a one-on-one session, clarity session that will come up on Tuesday. where you'd have myself, you'd have other individuals, professionals, industry experts that'll help you make a decision. Okay. So would be with you to help you answer those questions. So when you get the email, ensure you indicate that you want a one-on-one session. All right. Marketing and data analytics go hand in hand. For the person asking, two career paths that go hand in hand with marketing, data analytics and data science. So you have to ask yourself the question, data analytics, data science, if I want to code, I want to learn Python, data science is the way to go. If I want, I don't want to code, I don't want to learn Python at this stage of my career, I just want to learn something where I can analyze my data, I can extract insights, I can do this, I can do that. Data analytics would be the way to go. But join us during the clarity session if you have questions, and then we'll have a more direct one-to-one approach because time is already far spent. It's good to take action early, but funding deter the action to be taken. I agree. And somebody also mentioned last week, Saturday, when we had a similar session, he saw this, he joined a session like this. When he got the recording, he sent it to his friend. His friend registered. They were both working in care. All right. They were both domiciliary carers. So his friend registered, joined our data analytics, and his friend got a job, but he didn't register and he's still working in care, up till now. We didn't even know, but he mentioned it last week when we had a similar session. So it's very important that the faster you take action, the best for you eventually. So the program starts 6th of January 2024. First 20 people for each program gets to enjoy the amazing discounts we have. I'm going to call it a day at this point because time is already fast spent and I don't want to keep you any longer than I've already kept you. I want to say a very big thank you to everybody that has joined and stayed from the beginning. It means that you learned something today. I'm in Manchester for MSc Data Science in Salford. I'm interested in February. Can I pay? The minimum is 210, Felix. And one advice I would give you, Felix, you're in Manchester in Salford. Get as much as you can from school, from your masters, but you're really not going to learn anything applicable in the real world. Okay? I've interacted, I have firsthand experience with universities in the UK. I've had so many people that finished from that same school, Felix, and I'll tell you that the skills that will get you a job in the UK, you're not going to get it from the university. All right? It's good for your profile that you have an MSc, but it's not going to help you get a job. You're not going to get the skills applicable to solve problems that employers want from you. All right? So get the best out of your money, because I know you've paid a lot of money to do your MSc. Attend classes, don't miss classes. But you want to equip yourself with the skills that will give you the job at the end of the day. So it's good that you started early so that by the time you are wrapping up, you would have gotten the skills and even start applying to jobs before the end of the program. Okay? You can pay 210, Felix, and then you get into the class. I think that's the minimum. I shared that earlier. 210, and then you have access to the program. Okay? Yeah, so you can get the program brochure from here. For the person that asked the other time, they're available here for you. And also, Felix, you can also use that same link and you have access to make the minimum payment of 210. And you can balance the rest before the program commences. All right, so I'd just like to end the session here today. And thank you very, very much for all of you that have joined us. Go ahead, please follow us across all our channels on Instagram, on Facebook, on Twitter, and I would love to see you in class 6th of January 2024. Thank you very much, guys. Have an amazing week ahead.